Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Day 7 of the 2023 Croquet Association World Championships. We're at the quarterfinal stage, and we are now live and handing over to our commentators for the day, Chris Clark and Jack Wicks.
Good morning from Hurlingham. Today's quarterfinals day. I'm Chris Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Jack Wicks. Welcome, Jack.
Good morning, thank you, Chris.
My favourite day of a World Championship. Quarterfinals, 4 what should be fantastic matches, all lined up on the front lawns of this beautiful Hurlingham Club. Lawns fantastically manicured, no overnight rain, so we should get a little bit of pace as the day goes on and the sun warms. Which match are you most looking forward to today, Jack?
I quite like the look of the Robert Fulford and Logan McCorkindale match. I've not seen I've not seen any of Logan McCorkindale other than a quick look on YouTube. But yeah, I think that could be pretty interesting.
Rob's obviously got decades of experience against Logan, who's playing his second World Championship. And almost went out at the block stage, didn't he?
Yeah,
got to 2 out of 6.
Yeah.
And then had a little bit of good fortune with Dave Kibble failing a jump at Rover, which would have knocked him out. And that wasn't a game he was playing, and that was Dave Kibble had to beat Jose Riva. And failed that jump, and Jose had a quadruple peel. And suddenly Logan was back in, had a playoff, and he's made it through 2 rounds of knockout to the quarterfinal. So well done to him for coming back after that bad start.
Yeah, that shows good temperament, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Coming back from, on the brink of going out, and just to come back in, qualify, and then obviously keep winning. Obviously didn't faze him too much.
No, he's quite balanced, quite mature young man, and been great to see him actually come back from that. And today will be a unique experience, getting to play what in my mind is the most tactically astute player to ever have played the game. And Rob is going to do more different stuff today than the average croquet player. He's going to try and take Logan out of his comfort zone.
But if you're going to play Rob, these are probably good lawns to play him on.
Yep.
If Logan gets in, then he can keep his brakes, get his brakes under control quickly, keep them together. Probably not as scary as it might be on hard lawns.
Correct. Yeah, it's going to be more physical and less tactical.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Robert Fletcher v Jose Riva.
Yeah.
Jose's just starting to peak.
Okay.
And if he can get off to a good start, I think it's an interesting match.
Yeah.
The danger is Robert just dominates from the start. Jose misses 3 or 4 roquets, and suddenly he's 2-0 down by lunch. And then it'll be a long way back.
Well, I had a quick bit of in the cafe. I was in there, and Jose was having breakfast, and I said to him, how do you feel? And he said, well, actually, I just want to enjoy it. I play croquet to enjoy myself. It's not something that I do to be stressed or be put under pressure. So I think he's in a good mindset. He's turned up. He said, I know I'm the underdog, but if I play like I did yesterday, then I know I can win.
Yeah, I think it's a good attitude. We've got the championship knockout up on the screen at the moment, so we can see this Robert Fletcher v Jose Riva match right at the top of the draw. Beneath that, interesting match between Matthew Essick and Mark Avery. I think one of the things we should say is from yesterday, Mark was quite under the weather. He had quite a heavy cold. Didn't play particularly well. I'm fancying Matthew to win this comfortably.
Matthew's in crunch mode, isn't he?
He is.
And Mark has said this morning he's probably feeling slightly worse than yesterday. But he can pull it out the bag. He's more than capable. Obviously, Open champion now, so I wouldn't write him off.
Well, I
think he's starting as underdog, isn't he?
He's clear underdog, and he's going to need to shoot a lot better.
Yeah.
He hasn't shot well so far, and if he puts the odd error out, he's really going to struggle. Matthew yesterday and the day before really quite impressive. So I am favouring Matthew in that match.
Yeah. And just quickly on Matthew, would you say his break play's improved? It's quite a few years since I've seen him, but he was always a single ball player, but he's got more control now by the look of the scores.
Correct. Yeah. It's still definitely much better than 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Still improving, I think.
Okay.
So I think he's good. I think he's a positive player. I think he's a confident player. He would be one of the ones I'd be scared of playing in the draw.
Yeah.
He could really just come and beat you.
And he could be golf croquet world champion and AC world champion.
Could indeed, and that would be a great combination.
And I know Reg has done it, but was it simultaneous?
I'm trying to remember. Off the top of my head, I can't remember whether Reg held them both at once. I think he may well have done.
Okay.
The final match, which we should mention, as Robbie Fletcher and Jose Riva walk on to lawn 4, so I've got the match I wanted.
Yeah. I asked Chris earlier what he wanted, and this is what he wanted. So
the last match, a bit of an upset. We've got Alan Giraud v Thomas Balding.
Yeah.
So Tom had a fantastic 3 TP win against Harry Fisher yesterday, 3-0. Playing them at Robertson Shield in November.
Yeah.
Didn't quite meet his own expectations, and he's come back here and he's really shown what he's capable of. So great performance from Tom.
I've never seen Tom, so I don't know if they seem to be down on lawn 2, so I don't see much of him. But that's probably the weakest of the quarterfinals, if we're honest, isn't it?
On paper, clearly weaker than the other areas. Alan yesterday had a 5-game match against Reg Bamford.
26 TP in the fifth, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
you can't ask any more than that.
The scores in those last 2 games look pretty good, don't they? 26 TP 9, 26 TP 0. Didn't see much of it because obviously it's different venue.
Yeah.
But I've been highlighting Alan from sort of day one. Really good player on these lawns. I really fancied him to do well this tournament, and he'll be thinking his favourite going into that match.
Yeah.
And not far away from getting his first ever World Championship medal. And that's going to be, as you say, on lawn 2, so a little bit further away from us.
He's a good player, but when I always watch him, he sort of goes about his business quietly. There's not a lot of interest. It doesn't make anything look difficult. He sort of seems to be playing easy shots. So it's an interesting one to watch.
So lawn 3, the one between the show lawn 4, we've got Essex v Avery, so we should be able to keep a little bit of an eye on that for you.
So I've just had a quick look. Bamford was GC World Champion in 12 and AC Champion in 13. Or am I looking at this the wrong way? AC in 12, GC in 13. So there might have been an overlap.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he did do that.
Still worth having for Matthew, though.
So the players now warming up.
Are these new balls for this tournament? They look pretty shiny.
Now, that's a very good question, Jack. So the answer to the question is these that we're watching on lawn 4 are brand new balls on day 1. But they're an old set of balls. So they're a nice old set of Dawsons that are brand new.
Right.
On lawns 3, 2 and 1, we've got old Dawsons that are much smoother than these.
Yeah.
So much less milling. So quite an interesting change, but these balls have been playing very nicely.
They've got a real shine to them, haven't they? These ones on this lawn.
Day 1 they were fully waxed up.
Yeah.
So
and they're changing hoops as well today.
Very important to mention that to the viewers. So we've moved from ultras to quadways today, and that's designed to try and make them a little bit more difficult. So particularly when you're running a hoop from an angle, the quadways just put a little bit more resistance, don't they?
I don't think I've played with quadways, I must admit. Everybody talks about them.
And the other thing that's going to happen potentially is when you're peeling from an angle, instead of it just sort of sogging into the wire and maybe finishing in the jaws, it's going to bounce a couple of feet out to the side.
I must say, some of the peel attempts that I've seen on the stream do seem to have been quite bad.
And still managed to make the jaws often.
Still made the jaws, yeah.
So I'm hoping today they're going to bounce off a wee bit, and that might make peeling turns, particularly if we see any sextuple peels. I think they're going to be a little bit more difficult. And the other factor I think I want to highlight to the viewers is the hoops have been moved about 8 inches west.
Okay.
And people who've been watching Lawn 4 will know that there's a bit of a cliff at Hoop 6.
Yes.
And it's been going east. Now, is the fact that the hoop's been moved 8 inches going to take that cliff out of play?
Yeah.
That would make it a lot
Cliff's
easier.
a bit harsh.
It's a cliff because of how beautifully
Speed, yeah.
fast the lawns are. Any minor deviation is increased.
Yeah.
People often say that United, the lawns aren't very flat, but it's because they're fast.
Yeah.
They get to the end of the roll and they just go a little bit one way or another. But overall, if you shoot firmly at them,
Yeah.
they're good lawns. So this is interesting. Robbie's checking this north boundary, and he's just rolled black along the yard line, and it's almost
That's
gone off the
gone,
north
hasn't it?
boundary.
Yeah.
So a little bit of hill off lawn here.
And the other thing I've noticed as well on this lawn is I don't know if there's a hill coming to Hoop 2, is there? And I'm going to get confused here because we're sitting on the north boundary, aren't we?
We are.
And I'm going to call west east and east west quite a lot, so you're going to have to put up with that, I'm afraid. But you know, people coming over from the east boundary on the third turn to this ball in corner 2, quite a few of them seem to have been finding Hoop 2.
Yeah, there's definitely a few little bits of hill here, and I suppose the other thing to mention is corner 2 is a bit treacherous as well. It's quite fast, it's browning up, and it goes off the lawn a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So
you can see it visually from where we're sitting. You can see it sloping down into the corner. Just quickly before we start, I just wanted to say thank you to Keith. He's put in a great shift, hasn't he, over the well, every day I think he's been on commentary.
He's been main commentator, and he's just under the weather today. He's got a cold.
He's under the weather. I think he might have gone home, so you might unfortunately not be hearing any more from him. But thanks to him.
We'll try and do a good job for
exactly.
you, Keith, at home, and keep you updated.
Yeah.
And fantastic effort both here and at the Open Championship a week ago.
I think that was the first time he commentated at the Opens.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed, working alongside him. He's got lots of anecdotes and interesting views.
Sometimes he says the right thing as well.
He's very astute, very astute.
He was very keen on taking the shortest shot, wasn't he? At any possibility.
I do tend to agree with him. So Jose now practicing this long lift shot. Will he take this? I don't know. It's perhaps if Robbie lays up a long way north, he might end up taking this. I had a chat with him about tactics before the match, and I encouraged him to practice shooting into corner 2 early on.
Okay.
I want him to know, is my ball going to go a quarter ball left to right, half a ball left to right, or more or less straight at a firm pace?
From B-Bolt.
From B-Bolt into corner 2.
Yeah.
Gabrielle was taking that quite gently, and it was hilling a little bit
end
left
in the
to
corner,
right.
didn't she?
Yeah.
And what do we think Robbie's going to be doing then if he's especially if he's second ball round.
Well, I think he's going to stick to what he's been doing and go to one back and do a TPO
really will
and
be
peg 2 balls out.
I don't think Jose's a kind of player that you want to be doing that against.
I don't. I think he can play 2 ball breaks.
Yeah.
So that could be a very interesting part of the match.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I wanted this to be on the show lawn, I think it's been a random draw. They could have had lawn 1 or lawn 4 because they played on 2 and 3 yesterday. So that's one of the things. What's Robbie going to do if he hits the lift shot?
Yeah.
The other thing, which I think is equally important, is what openings are they going to play. Now, yesterday when Robbie went first, he played anti-duffers. Now, that's a ball about 2 yards off the east boundary, level with hoop 5.
Yeah.
And it's designed to say, look, if you lay a duffer tice, I'm going to hit the duffer tice.
Is there any need for that in this?
Go wrong.
I haven't seen any anti-duffers. I don't.
So, yesterday in, I think, game 3, Gavin shot at the anti-duffer, missed badly, and Robert hit Gavin's ball and just went to 4 back third turn anyway.
Yeah.
So I've been encouraging Jose to go to corner 2.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you put out an anti-duffer and they go into corner 2? Are you trying to play off on the east boundary somewhere with a rush to corner 2?
Normally I shoot at it.
Shooting, yeah.
Because it's 2 yards shorter.
But you're not in a great spot then, are you, on fifth turn?
You can make a leave.
Yeah.
It's not a opening to go round third turn. if they go to corner 2. I don't think he's going to shoot at the ball just out of corner 2.
It's, if you want to take the innings, you might play it, but if you're trying to go round on the 3rd or 4th turn, it's probably not the best opening, is it? And I think you need to be doing that, don't you?
You need a super shot. I really want players to play a super shot, and Matthew is going to play a super shot.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like how he's playing.
Jose, I'd be surprised if he didn't. I think from what he said this morning, he's here to enjoy himself, and he knows he can beat Robert Fletcher if everything goes in his favour. So I think he'll be going for it.
Yeah, I think Jose again will play super shots. Probably not shooting as well as Matthew at the moment.
So what time are they scheduled to start, Chris?
So it's a 9:40 scheduled start.
It's
so
9:48. So the managers. Well, I was quite surprised at how late the players seemed to turn up. I mean, I was here at 9:20, and there was only Matthew, I think. Maybe there was someone else, but they all seemed to wander down at 9:30.
Yeah, so
straight
you're
onto the lawn.
Not allowed to start practicing until 9:30. It's one of the rules at Hurlingham. So
Not sure any of the games have started. Maybe the game on lawn.
I think lawn 2 has just started. Alan v Tom, and Alan's played a ball to the east boundary, and Tom looks like he's going to go to corner 2. All there Duffer Tice. But yeah, otherwise everyone's still practicing. Matthew moving the balls to the end of A bulk, ready to start against Mark, and Jose and Robbie still just continuing their practice.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I don't think any of these players will be particularly scared of playing, or worried about their opponent,
Potentially that's true.
I suppose maybe Logan might be. You can't ignore Rob's vast experience, if nothing else, on these front lawns.
Logan's going to find the balls in different positions to what they've been before. He's going to find he's popped through hoop 1 or popped to hoop 3, balls in hoops.
Sadly, that's down on lawn 1, so we're not going to get to see a huge amount of that.
So yeah, Rob's dropped the odd game here and there. So Logan's definitely going to have a chance.
Well, still practicing here on lawn 4.
Yeah, and the key things I'd be practicing are approaching hoop 3 from different sides. There is a hill round 4 back we know from history.
Which appears to be what Robert is doing now.
Yeah, practicing approaching hoop 6. I meant to see that's gone down the slope there.
Yeah,
so he's trying to find out where the hill is, and that will allow him to approach up the hill when he actually plays a break. Yeah. Approaching hoop 6, is that hill as much in play, or has the movement of the hoops taken it out of play? And I'd be playing up on the north boundary by corner 2.
And potentially the hill that goes down to hoop 4 has been taken out of play a bit.
Maybe. So Jose's finished his warm-up, and we should be ready to start fairly soon.
Could do with warming up a bit for my liking, really. Maybe I'll put my jump on.
I should comment on the weather. We've got light cloud and very light breeze. A little bit more than yesterday. The flags are just fluttering, but very little movement in the trees, and it is a good day to play croquet.
So Jose's going first. Does that indicate he won the toss? I think it probably does, doesn't
absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. Always interested with people who choose to play black and blue.
Right.
I guess one of the reasons is we know the yellow is probably the biggest ball.
Why do you say that?
Just experience of Dawson's.
Okay.
The yellow tends to be the biggest of the primary colours. So Jose had a chat with me before the game and basically said, yeah, super shots, and I said between 5 and peg.
That's quite nice, isn't it, for the if Robbie was to go to corner 2?
Yeah.
It's probably deeper, isn't it, than a normal standard super shot.
Yeah. So Robbie's going to lag a ball out, probably about 3 to 4 yards east of yellow.
We saw Mark, didn't we, trying to hit these in the opens?
Yeah.
It's a bit longer.
Don't like dribbling at this.
No.
Later on in the match, game 3, 4, 5, I might just shoot at that.
Really?
Hard. If my opponent's playing well, shoot it hard, say, right, I'm going to take the match under my own control, move it out the middle, and I'm going to go around 4th turn. And now I want Jose to be positive.
I think, yeah.
This is a firm shot at yellow from where Robbie's sitting. So the shortest possible shot. So I'm going to hit my 13, 14 yarder. And I don't care that it's missing near B-bulk. Just play positively. Nice smooth shot. You can rush it up to hoop 2. You don't really want to rush it off the north boundary, do you?
I wasn't watching closely enough if he'd practiced any of these length croquets in this warm-up. I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes you still feel at the start of a match, you know, or do I want to give my opponent a laid 4-ball break? And I think you're probably right against Robert. It doesn't matter, you know, really. But
if you miss this shot that he's taking, and he's going to shoot gently, isn't he?
is he looking for a double? I don't think there's a
No.
double available, is there?
No, I don't think there's any double available. If you miss red at yellow gently, you are going to leave a double target.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on, is he, you know, what's his natural swing? Is he able to shoot gently at that and keep his form, or?
It's just a short shot. Just go and hit your 14-yarder.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give Robert an easy start.
Looking at it, he's missed narrowly.
Looked close.
So somewhere there'll be a double from B bulk at red and blue, or from A bulk at yellow and red. And I would say the shortest shot is from B bulk at red and blue, and that's where Robbie's walking. He's just had a look at yellow and red from A bulk, but I think the shot is to come up here to a little bit west of corner 3 and take a double target. He'll be really unlucky if hoop 3's in the way of making a perfect double.
He's having a look.
I would have thought he could have made double targets either side, so even if hoop 3's in the way on one side, he'll be able to move to the other.
It is, looking at this camera angle, it does look like it might be in the way on the right hand side, but he seems to have found it.
So that's a nice double. That's just a nice double.
And what are we expecting if he hits this? 4-back?
I'm expecting a basic ball to 4-back,
Yeah.
and an MSL.
Okay. And have you spoken much about his stop shot? Yeah, in this tournament.
We mentioned it early on.
Okay.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it, Jack?
Well, I saw him. I was at Nottingham for the Opens, and I don't think I saw him play live, but I saw him practicing, and he pulled out a stop shot, and I had to do a bit of a double take because I hadn't seen a stop. Once I'd seen that, it reminded me I hadn't seen a stop shot for quite a few years. We don't seem to see them anymore, do we?
So no, really high ratio, and he's got his own mallet that he's made. One of the things I think we could mention is this mallet here is a little bit longer in the shaft than the one he was using of Reg Bamford's during the Golf Croquet
it's longer.
Opens.
I thought it looked fairly short when I saw it at Nottingham. Is it 11 inches the head?
No, I'm not talking about the head.
The
I'm
shaft.
talking about the shaft.
Sorry, okay.
And what Robbie's found is his shooting hasn't been quite as good with this one, and he's actually now changed, and he's got a little bit of tape on his mallet,
Right.
1.5 inches down from the top, and he's gripping it a little bit, 1 inch to 1.5 inches lower,
Okay.
to replicate the GC Opens mallet
Yeah.
that he shot so brilliantly with.
And why did he use Reg's mallet for that? Is it because he didn't have his in the country?
So on the way over, the airline always missed. It was missed.
That's
I had that 9 out of 10.
not expected, is it?
No. So interestingly, you asked why he didn't have his mallet. The airline lost the head of his mallet. So he came over, he'd got 3 or 4 different shafts in his bag,
Right.
but he only had one head, and the mallet case was open. Let's have another look at this shot.
Doesn't seem to have gone through the middle, does it?
No, it's just
There's a
missed on
miss
the
on the
right.
right.
Yeah. So he came over and he didn't have a head.
Mm.
So he had to borrow a mallet to play the GC Opens, and Reg Bamford's wife, Adrienne, very kindly couriered a mallet all the way down to Southwick for him to play with. And he ended up beating Reg 7-0 in the first game of the GC Opens final, playing with Reg's mallet.
And I was quite surprised that he then decided to change to his own mallet. Maybe Reg had told him he couldn't use it anymore.
Maybe. But this mallet he's using has a different set of characteristics.
Yeah, sure,
This has got this massive ratio stop shot.
Sure.
And he's deliberately made it to play certain shots, I think, on a sextuple.
Okay.
And yet we've seen so few sextuples. I think it's still only 3 in the entire tournament.
Right.
And we were asked, Keith and myself, how many sextuples do you think there are going to be in the knockout?
I heard that, and I was going to say, I was quite pleased when Keith said 15, because I thought that's what I'd say, and then he said, oh no, I'm not going to say 15, and then he said 8, and I thought, oh well, I'm well out there.
And I agreed with Keith at 8.
Okay.
And at the moment I think it's 0. And possibly with, now we've got Bamford out,
Yeah.
that reduces the chances of sextuples. Robert Fulford's still in.
Well, Essex had a go at one, did he?
He had a go,
Yeah.
but he failed, so he'll probably give up on them.
Really?
And James Death out of the tournament as well. He can do sextuples, so we might end up, dare I say it, with 0.
I can't believe Rob's not going to do a sextuple.
It would be a surprise, but we'll
Now,
have to
what
wait
did you
and
think
see.
about this? He played yellow. Was that what you would have done? I was looking at it thinking I would probably have played red, but
I didn't think there was a lot in it.
no, those shots looked the same length, didn't they?
Yeah. So he's tried to rush to black there,
Yeah.
and he's rushed it to corner
Nasty
1.
now, isn't it?
That boundary, from memory, is substantially better than the north boundary.
Yeah.
So I would be playing a takeoff
Yeah.
and actually trusting to be able to get behind black and get a rush to hoop 1. You could croquet
Yeah.
partner out into the lawn and then just play a stop shot approach from the boundary,
Don't like it.
but I think I can just take off behind this ball.
Yeah. And there's no chance of him here just croqueting red over to the east boundary. You don't think, just in case he needs to
Well,
go
that's
back
what
to
he's
it.
doing, Jack. I hate this.
You hate it. yeah.
I'm just going to confidently play a takeoff
Yeah.
and say I am making hoop 1,
So it's a 6-yard takeoff.
and this is too defensive. This shot is a lot more difficult than a takeoff.
He's presumably not going to try and get a rush here.
Oh no, definitely try and get a rush.
It's well short, isn't it?
Oh, he hasn't. I think you're right. He didn't even try there.
So he's not put red safe either.
No, this is just saying I'm happy approaching the hoop from straight in front.
Yeah.
My
So I think
arg-
if you're going to do that, I think you want red behind the hoop, don't you?
I want red halfway, either level with the hoop or halfway between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And secondly, I don't want to rush black an extra 4 feet east.
I think I would have been putting red behind hoop 1, approach black so it's halfway, peg high.
Yeah.
And wherever you run that hoop 1 to, then
You've got a ball.
hopefully you've got something to hit. But he's done it well.
But did you see the amount that hilled?
did
That
go a
hilled
couple of balls,
2
didn't it?
balls west.
He'll be happy. He's going to run this and he's going to have a rush back to red, isn't he? So he probably knew why he's putting red there, Chris.
Yeah. So picked up the break, not as I would have done, but he played that role. I think he got lucky.
What do you think about that hoop stroke? It looked a bit.
I would say it looked confident.
Yeah, maybe just hit it a little bit too softly.
What I'm looking for are people who get a 2-foot hoop and run it by 9
wobbled.
yards.
I think it did wobble a bit. Anyway, it's
Now he's still got to take off behind red, and
yeah. He's going to put out an early hoop for Pioneer, is he?
no, just a
No,
little take off.
a little
Plenty of room behind the red. But that approach from the boundary, I'm going to say he got lucky.
Oh, we've got a comment here. Pepe, that's Jose, isn't it?
Yeah, so
He's
all
going
the
to
Spaniards.
attempt sextuple.
So that's from Nicholas Denizo. Now I had a chat with Jose prior to this, and what he said was later on in the match,
Yeah,
he was going to lay for a sextuple
yeah.
with his ball in 1 back.
Okay, and what is that? Is that a major advantage? Do you think? I don't think that's any better than going to fullback, is it?
So it gives a substantially longer shot.
Yeah.
particularly if Robbie were on 1 and 4 back.
Yeah.
He could leave the hoop 1 ball almost on the south boundary.
Yeah.
Obviously can't leave it in front of hoop 1, but he could definitely leave about a 31, 32 yard shot.
Yeah.
It's 33 from north to south boundary, so he could definitely leave a 31, 32 yarder, and that's comparing to a lift shot that's maybe 19 yards.
Yeah, I wasn't on top of how much longer it was, I must admit.
So it's definitely worth doing, but
only for the ball on the boundary though.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah, okay.
So against 1 and 1, much less good.
Yeah.
But against 1 and 4 back, very attractive.
He's put blue on the east side of the hoop there.
Yeah, I think we would both have rushed back to the western side.
I would have put it on the west there to go back and pick black up.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
There's a chance now that if he's going to be trying to rush it, there's a chance he can rush this into hoop 2, isn't there?
There is. And even if he doesn't, he's got quite a wide angle croquet stroke to play rather than a straight croquet stroke.
Well, maybe he's just going to rush on top of black and get a tight. Yeah.
He's played it well. Just hitting those short roquets exactly where you want them
Soft
is a
though, isn't it?
big confidence builder early in the match.
I don't think you're quite on the stream. I've been watching the stream. I don't think you quite. You don't quite see how fast it is. I mean, it's a really gentle stroke, I think.
Yeah, these lawns are lovely. They're about 13 seconds, and really just a delight to play on. Yeah. So I think this game, he's going to go to 4 back, Nicholas. And then as the match progresses, if Robbie shows he can shoot, and remember he's 0 out of 1 so far, if Robbie keeps missing, I think if Jose wins this, he'll keep going to 4 back. But once Robbie starts to hit, then I think Jose will go to 1
You do a
back.
bit of work with Jose, don't you?
Yeah, I have done.
What's his sort of percentage on 6 duple? If he started a 6 duple, and obviously bearing in mind we're starting with the ball in 1 back by the sound of it, what's his?
Yeah, well the normal one where you lay up in corner 3, he isn't 50% on.
Yeah.
So we were hoping to get to a stage where he'd get to 70 and he could do that, but hasn't quite managed to do that. The lady, the 1 back leave with the ball in 1 back,
standard 6 duple,
sort of what Keith called the John Solomon leave.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be about 70% on that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good sort of mid-match tactic, but I really want to just put the pressure on and play basic croquet until Robbie shows the level of form that he's capable of. I've highlighted during the Opens that Robbie didn't play as well as he did in the golf croquet.
And is there any theories as to why that might have been? I mean, he was on top form, wasn't he? So he's
simply don't think he's hitting the ball as straight.
And just a change in mallet
could
be the only reason, couldn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jose putting out a hoop 6 Pioneer. Again, for those looking in the commentary, all of our Spanish friends call Jose Pepe.
And Chris is going to be doing a bit of Spanish commentary in about half an hour, right? You said you were going to switch to Spanish, didn't you?
Well, that would be nice for our Spanish friends. I know they're very keen on Jose winning this.
He's left red at the bottom of the cliff, as you call it there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Is that on purpose, do you think, or is it just a poor shot?
I think he's probably tried to put it a bit more in front of the hoop than that. Got a little bit of a cut rush now. Slightly underhit that shot with yellow, but he's really on top of blue.
Does these shots indicate that Lawns maybe not quite as quick as they were yesterday? They've not quite got up to speed. He seems to have undershot quite a few shots so far.
Yeah, I think they won't be as fast as they were at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
But they will be, won't
but they will pick up. I think they'll get faster than they were yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
So at this stage, I'm going to put a little bit of a technical comment in. So we had a chat with the groundsman at Hurlingham, and asked him about what he's done to get the lawns in such fantastic condition. And he went through the normal things like verticutting and mowing to a very low height every day and rolling. But then he mentioned something that I hadn't heard of before. He mentioned, I think it's potassium silicate.
Some kind of treatment.
Yeah. So it's a chemical. And what it apparently does, it gets the blades of grass to stand upright, a bit like a hairspray, and apparently that makes the lawn play faster.
That is interesting you say that, because that is one thing that I don't know if I thought about it in them terms, but I'd certainly, thought that the grass does seem to be pointy, as it were.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's not long enough to lay down, is it? But it's.
And my initial thought was, well, when you're rolling a lawn, you're actually getting it to lay flat to speed it up.
Yeah.
And this was doing the opposite. But these are experts, and they've done a fantastic job.
And they're not watering, by the look of it, every night.
No. Looks fine. We have had a little bit of overnight rain, not last night, but the night before.
Is that a bit of a win, the watering? Because I thought in the past they were always quite keen on the watering. Well, here. They like to keep them green, don't they?
They do. Going back to 1989, the first ever World Championship, Matthews just failed a jump at hoop 4. So that's the first Atkins victim that we've seen.
Mark's got a 7-yarder, hasn't he, or 6-yarder?
Yeah, but what are we talking about? We're talking about the speed of the lawn.
We were talking about watering.
Going back to 89, these lawns were brown.
What's he doing? Why has he done that, Chris? He's put out a pivot.
That's just swapping his pivot.
Why has he done that?
Just to get a little bit more control and put out his one-back pioneer from closer.
He needed to do that, did it?
I think it's a good break hygiene thing. So now he can play a straight croquet stroke from shorter, putting out blue from shorter range, going along the rush line to red.
Yeah.
And for players watching, that's a really nice piece of break hygiene, just swapping the pivot. And you can swap the pivot almost after every hoop if you want, to play shorter croquet strokes. The downside is you only get one go at putting out your pioneer.
And I don't know, I always like to have a croquet stroke where I'm maybe concentrating on one of the balls.
Okay, that's a fair comment.
So if he'd have, he could have maybe tried to put black out, and he was concentrating on black. And then, like you say, if it was not so good, you can always have another go of blue. But
yeah, so here he'll be putting partners 2 back, which is what we always like. And always have a look. Is it better to approach the hoop sending the ball east or west? And that just went dead straight. I know he only moved it 3 inches.
It did go straight, didn't it?
But I am going to be watching that as the match goes on.
Yeah.
I think they're fast. I still look at these balls rolling and they're still going further than I expect them to go. And part of it is the visual difficulty of looking at a green lawn.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And I thought it was quite helpful what Keith pointed out, that golf greens are green, aren't they?
They are.
And croquet players tend to think of fast lawns being brown, but actually if you've got the ability to do what Hurlingham have done, which to be fair not many clubs have.
And Roehampton done a great job as well. So
have you been there?
Been to Roehampton about a couple of weeks ago, so not during the tournament. I think it's a good time to mention all the clubs, because I've been to Ealing, I've been to Surbiton. I didn't go to Dulwich, but the reports again from Dulwich are very, very positive. Each of these clubs have done a really good job to make their lawns faster.
Yeah. They're
not all 13 seconds, but they're all faster than they would normally be.
The people playing in the play probably quite pleased about that.
Yeah. So many thanks to all the venues. Today, actually, we've got a 7th venue.
There's some people playing at Wimbledon, I was told today.
Yeah, Wimbledon in use for the first time. I didn't mention Woking. Again, very favourable comments coming back about Woking.
Good.
So, great job by everyone. Thanks very much to the organising committee, who have obviously done a lot of work to encourage clubs to do the best they can to increase the lawn speed. That's been a real positive feature at this tournament. And these world-class players, as we say, I've been saying for months now, this is going to be a sextuple fest, and I'm wrong at the moment.
It looked like he might have been going for an MSL here, but he's not got the position, has he?
No,
poor 2-back pioneer.
He can still do it. He can still tap blue and try and croquet into position.
What do you do if it goes on the eastern wire? What do you do? Are you coming back to it?
I'm going to come back to it, and I might even abort to a NSL then.
Makes it all a bit more tricky, doesn't it?
He does need a rush on black here, doesn't he?
Do you think he's going to go for a rush? Yeah. He might just go for a croquet stroke.
I don't want to roll from black all the way down to red.
None of us would want to.
So I'm definitely playing a croquet straight.
Looks like it might be a takeoff, is it? Looks like
thick
it might
takeoff?
be a takeoff.
Yeah, thick takeoff.
Yeah. I mean, he can't do anything else now, can he, with blue? He's almost forced. Now that he's just roquet blue to there, there's nothing else he can do.
It's quite a tricky one, this. If you play a thin takeoff, you don't get very much pull at all.
Yeah.
If you play a thick takeoff, you get a lot of pull.
I wonder whether
That's just bad. It's just
pull.
under hit.
I wonder whether I might have just looked at that and thought, well, I'm going to just go for the jaws here.
Nothing wrong with the jaws, Jack, there. That's absolutely
Big
fine.
target, isn't it?
But having left it there...
This is bad now, isn't it? He's going to have to come back to it.
He's got two options. He can either leave it after 2 back, rush it towards the west boundary as an NSL ball, or he can rush it back to the east boundary and throw it back to the peg for a diagonal spread.
Yeah.
Even roll it down to 3 back and make an NSL that way.
No,
But he has to come back to it.
yeah, you always coming back to it after 2 back, or
Always after 2 back.
Always after 2 back, yeah.
And I think I'm going to rush it to the east boundary and roll it down to 3
You
back.
can't rush it south though, can he? Can't rush it very far south by the look of it. So
Just rush it over level with hoop 6 on the east boundary.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my 3 back pioneer north of 3 back.
So that's not a dissimilar croquet stroke to the one that you just said you didn't want to play.
I'm not happy having to play that. No, definitely not.
No.
But he's done okay. I say I'm going to put black a bit north because I'm thinking of rolling blue down from the east boundary to 3 back.
So these little things are just developing as the balls have not gone quite where you want. You're slightly changing the position of your pioneers.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Jose there has just gone, well, my 3 back. But I always put my 3 back pioneer in on that blade of grass, so I'm going to do the same thing.
I think so. And this is not the approach to 2 back you want on a 4-ball break.
I think he's going to be fine. He can run it to the boundary, can't he? Although he's gone for control.
So nice to get a straight hoop. The Atkins hoops, not particularly difficult from straight, but when you get an angle like Matthew did at hoop 4, they're going to put up a lot more resistance.
Okay, so I'm going to be a bit behind on that because I'm not too familiar with the angles that are possible with Atkins.
So much better to get a 4-foot straight hoop than a 2-foot 35-degree hoop.
Yeah.
So he's nicely in front. He can go nice and firmly at this.
I just wonder whether he's going to leave this until after 3 back. So I think you can do your NSL, can't you?
You
rush
can.
Partner across, take off to blue, hope to rush it to the west boundary, take off back again. I think that's probably what I would do. I suppose
I just don't like all these long takeoffs.
Long takeoff, sure. But 2 long takeoffs, you'd rather play a 1 big roll.
It's not going to be that big a roll. It's going to be what, about 15 yards, and it's going to be going to a nice pioneer that's north of the hoop, nothing in play. But he's still looking north. I think having not got a rush to corner 2.
I was going to say, now he's got this rush, I think he's got to go to black.
Yeah, I'm going to go to your option here,
he's
Jack.
got to, hasn't he? Now he's got a rush point in that way. So there's a comment that people couldn't hear me, and some people might say that's not a bad thing, but hopefully I've moved into a position where you can hear me a bit better.
Yeah, so we did move the mic a little bit, so hopefully we're both good now. So rolling red over there does indicate we're still going for a NSL.
And red's always short, isn't it? It's not on this occasion.
That's a good ball.
Yeah.
Like that ball. So he wants black on the front of hoop 4, just off the left hand wire of hoop 4, so it's wired from A bulk. And then after putting black there, he'll be hitting red to its final position almost on the east boundary, and then take off all the way back to blue, shift blue further towards the west boundary, take off all the way back to red again.
I suppose that the one thing I'd be worried about there is either going past blue on that long takeoff, or being so worried about going past blue that you leave yourself a 5-yarder or something.
Yeah, and it's a genuine worry when you're playing on a quick lawn.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Again, this black is not tight.
No.
So
what's he going to do? He's still going to go for it, is he?
He is. This is loose play. And when you're putting black out from here, You can underhit it and leave it open from A-bulk. You can overhit it and it might finish bounced off the hoop. When you're playing this shot, Jack, are you playing black to hit the wire, or are you playing it with touch to finish short?
I think I probably try to nestle on the wire.
So just reach the wire.
Just reach.
Which is what he's done.
That's good.
So that's good in terms of it can't be hit from
It
A-bulk.
might not be rushed to 1, hey?
It might only rush 2 or 3 yards north of hoop 1, but that's okay. Anything within a few yards of hoop 1 is going to be okay. The key thing there was he had to wire it from the end of A-bulk and put it in a position where he could easily put red off the boundary and black can't hit it because it's hampered. So he'll be happy with that. But
He's got his takeoff to play now.
This is scary, I think. If you overhit it, you're crosswired.
I think there's a very good chance that you can end up leaving yourself a 4 or 5 yarder. Is you need to come south of it too, north of it too, don't you? So you want to be rushing it west and south.
You see, I'm not going to do that because that puts the crosswire more into play. I'm going to take off directly at it.
Right.
Be happy to
You're
hit
just
it.
going to thick
and I'm
it
going to
across,
put a thick takeoff, yeah.
Okay. You're not getting it on the boundary then, but you're not worried about getting it on the boundary.
Not fussed. I want it on a maximum distance area.
Yeah, okay.
So between, Keith mentioned yesterday, you just want it a couple of yards north of the peg.
Yeah.
You don't need it
Yeah.
on a boundary.
I mean, I've not played much the last few years, but I had. Oh,
That just shook the red.
did it?
And
That's
it's
very
taken off
short,
down the
isn't
line.
it?
Oh, that.
Very short. No, it's not.
It's not. It's
on.
a really
It's
good shot. But it only missed hoop 6 by about a ball and a half.
It's a very good shot. That's where I would have wanted to take. Although if it was me, I'd wanted to be closer because I might miss that. But
Lovely pace takeoff.
I had forgotten just how far in this instance south you want to be, even past 6.
Yeah, you don't want to be leaving 15 yarders, 16 yards from B-bulk because these players will take aggressive shots. Another one hit nicely in the middle. One of the interesting things here.
And which side are you taking off from now?
I'm going to
Pushing it in a
take
bit?
in game 1. I'm going to take off from the easy side, the right, and move it a foot or 2 in lawn.
I don't think Rob would be doing that, would he? Rob Fulford would be taking off from the left.
In game 3, I'm going to take off from the left and leave it on the lawn, on the boundary.
Yeah.
But I want to just make it a tiny bit easy for myself at the moment.
He's barely moved it.
Barely moved it. And the standard shot for Robbie to take is to lift the black, go to corner 3, and take the long lift down the boundary at red. And if he does that, it's quite a tricky pickup, isn't it?
I was just thinking that it's quite tricky to get a hoop 2 pioneer, isn't it? I mean, you'll have a ball floating about there, but it's not going to be a good pioneer, I can't imagine. But your priority is getting the rush to 1, isn't it?
It is. The other thing we should mention is imagine Robbie hits black onto red, and rushes it down to corner 4.
Yeah.
Then blue becomes a fantastic defensive ball.
Yeah.
In that Robbie has to take off up the lawn and get a rush on yellow.
Yeah.
To a ball on a boundary. If he just rushes it a few yards past the peg, well, it's not easy to roll behind that ball. So there is a level of defence there. It's a nice, easy, basic break. That's what I was expecting, Nicholas.
You were going for, you said an MSL, didn't you? And he did try it.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get it.
This is very much in line with the strategy. Start with basic stuff, play yourself in, allow Robbie to miss, and if Robbie starts hitting, then we're going to go with these John Solomon leaves with the ball in 1 back. So
I can't decide whether I expect him to hit or not now.
Well, I'm not sure what shot he's going to take.
No.
Game 1, with blue on the boundary, I am taking this long defensive shot.
Have we got? Does the camera from down there show us an angle of what he's got from A-bulk? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, really.
So
good
he's got
picture.
nothing of black.
I disagree.
He's got black, has he?
I think he can get an 1/8 of black and
some
all of
yellow.
red.
On the right-hand side of the hoop you're talking now, are you?
No, I'm talking on the left-hand side.
The
So
left-hand
coming
side.
down about 4 yards off
So
the end
not
of
on
A-bulk.
the end of A-bulk. Okay.
and he can get maybe an eighth of that and a red in the background. Whether it's worth the extra 4 yards is a different matter entirely.
I don't think Jose would be unhappy for him to take that shot, would he?
I don't think so. I think Robbie will lift black and take the long lift here.
Yeah.
Early in the match with a defensive blue. Equally, as the player taking the lift, I want to walk on and look as if I might take some of the other shots. I don't want my opponent to think, oh, he's just going to take the long lift every time.
And would if you was Robbie here in this position, would be blue being where it is? Would that perhaps feed into your decision as to what take the long lift or the short lift? Would you might be more thinking the short lift just so you had the easier pickup?
I'm going to take the long lift because
just pure defensive
of how defensive blue is, and actually let Jose need to play a few reasonable shots to pick up a break.
Yeah, sure.
So Robbie will hit this quite firmly. This boundary hill's probably
Possibility of hitting yellow, isn't there? We saw that yesterday.
Gabrielle hit yellow, didn't she? Actually, she was a little bit sheepish. We got a round of applause after the shot, and she looked behind her, and she wasn't quite sure whether it was a sarcastic round of applause, but the crowd were actually genuinely pleased that she'd made her okay. And she played a nice takeoff afterwards.
Well, hitting lifts is what makes it interesting, isn't it? If people hit lifts, the game gets a bit more interesting than it might otherwise be.
So you can see Robbie again got an inch and a half at the top of his mallet that he's not using for shooting, and that's gone. And that is the way it hills. It hills left to right. Probably about third of a ball at that pace.
I don't think it was ever hitting, was it?
I wasn't on the direct line. I was just looking live at it.
Here we go.
So perhaps the viewers have got a better view.
I don't think so.
Probably just off on the right and going further right. So it's missed out of the corner by a few inches. And one of the questions I always think's interesting here is, do you try and rush yellow south of blue or north of blue?
South, isn't it? I think he barely moved blue off the boundary, did he? But he did get another quarter of a ball or something. I mean, when I say south, only a yard or two. I want to be playing a straighter shot, hopefully. Otherwise, if you rush north, yeah, okay, you guarantee a better rush to one, but you can't poke it out anywhere useful.
You're going to end up with your hoop 2 power near further south, aren't you, if you rush there? But arguably, you're on a rush line to hoop 1.
He's gone south.
This is way too far south.
This
is
blue
not a good shot.
Now.
That's not good at all.
Now he thinks I should have poked blue in a bit more.
In a yard or two, yeah. So I suppose the positive thing is he's going to get a really good hoop 2 power now. He's got loads of room.
Yeah.
But
he's not going to be tempted into a takeoff, is he?
I'm not going to be. I'm going to play a croquet stroke. Up the boundary. The boundary, I think, is genuine here. You can trust it. And knowing the lawn, I've probably played, I'm guessing, 50 competitive games on this lawn. Players like Fulford, Bamford may have played 80, 90, 100.
And that's because all the finals are on this lawn, presumably.
And we've played a lot of President's Cups. Obviously less so Reg, but Robert and myself, President's Cups used to be regularly at Hurlingham.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to play 4 games during a President's Cup on this lawn. And then opens, finals, opens, knockouts, open doubles.
Now he's examining it fairly.
Because it's brown, isn't it, Jack?
Extremely, isn't he?
It's definitely brown.
He's definitely worried about it. I think there's quite a high probability that he might christ into blue.
So that's playing a croquet stroke where red goes into blue and you don't get a rush.
You're worried, aren't you, when you're going along? How far along the boundaries are you going?
I'm going to be
6
positive
yards.
here. I'm going to play genuinely 3 balls inside blue and trust the lawn.
Well, I mean, I think he probably thinks he is, but...
Oh
dear.
No. That is very, very weak for a world-class player. I might have even played it as a half roll.
I think he may. I mean, if he's going to play a shot like that, play the takeoff, huh?
Correct. If you're going to be that wimpy about it, the takeoff was better.
Yeah.
In this turn, you have to make sure red has a go at hoop 1.
Yeah. I wonder whether he was just still thinking about that rush.
So here, would you play the roll? Or would you croquet this to corner 3 and make a leave? This is good, I think.
I think
this
I'd
is a
do
really
this.
good shot. Super shot from Jose.
Yeah, excellent shot.
It's about a 3-yard hoop.
Well, if I can do that, I'd do that.
Yeah, I agree. How hard is he going to hit this? Because he wibbled at the first one.
If he plays the same stroke as he did the first hoop one, I don't think he's going to run it. I think he might run it to yellow though, mightn't he?
Dead straight.
He could run this to yellow, I think.
We're directly behind him, aren't we? We've got a perfect view of the
So it's only
stalk.
It's only a yard or two north of the hoop, so
Very good technically. Nice hand position.
looks good.
Lovely shot.
Yeah, he's run
No
it to
wire,
yellow.
run it to yellow.
Well, he's got another stroke.
And he needs to get lucky here. You don't want to run hoop 2. That's fine. So he's got a...
I think that illustrates quite well the pace of these lawns, that stroke, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a beautiful, smooth
Stroke.
you know,
Yeah.
and that has just carried on.
Hoops are set to about 64th.
I mean, he's kind of got to rush back to blue now, hasn't he, if he can hit this?
Yeah. So we'll just stop commentary for a while Jose's taking this.
Why was that, do you think? I don't know.
I always like players who are capable of stopping mid-swing.
Was it the helicopter?
Might be. That's a lovely rush.
Yeah, excellent.
So, he's got 2 options now. He is going to send yellow to hoop 3, ready for the peel.
It's ideal, isn't it?
Are
It's
you
not like he
getting-
played for it.
Are you getting a rush on blue to hoop 2 or to corner 4?
I mean,
If you go for the rush to hoop 2, there's a risk of a crosswire.
what? So, were you asking me? Am I going to rush blue to corner 4?
Yeah.
I'm never rushing blue to corner 4.
So you're going to risk the crosswire and maybe have to leave a rush to corner 2 to just make sure you're not crosswired?
You're never playing this croquet stroke going to black.
No, I'm not.
You're never playing that.
No.
I'm just wondering whether you play that, take off from black, thick it out north a bit. No, it's difficult, isn't it?
I'm playing it going to blue.
Yeah, I mean, you've got. I don't think the crosswire is particularly in play.
And I'm doing what you're doing. I'm rushing to hoop 2 as well.
Yeah.
But I am just having in the back of my mind, maybe I want to leave myself a rush a little bit west of hoop 2 to avoid the crosswire.
It is a good foot or so, isn't it, east of the line? So
Certainly wandering up there and seeing where a bad shot. That's the spot I'm looking
this
at.
kind of shot, though, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it looks to me like it would be somewhere between a drive and a not quite a half. Well, I mean, it's not a half roll, is it? But
I think it's a drive for
I
me.
think it's a drive.
He's playing it as a half
He's
roll.
got a bit more roll on it.
Red's gone too far.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. So I think if he'd have played a drive, maybe he would have.
He's cuttable to within 5 yards of hoop 2 with a good shot. And yellow's a decent ball at 3.
Does the speed of these lawns alter the ratios at all? Would you say? Because the front ball just carries on.
Yeah, so you get a better stop
You
shot.
get a better stop shot, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this case, it probably was a drive, wasn't it? I mean, yellow's not bad, is it? Yellow's okay.
Yellow's
if
good.
red would have stopped to the.
Yeah, and he can rush this 5 yards away with a really good shot.
Yeah.
That's not bad, and it's probably going to finish on the boundary.
I think he'd be happy
6
with the line
yards
he
away.
hit that down, won't he?
It's okay. The negative is he's approaching across the hoop.
I think he'd be
instead of-
happy with the line, though.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been trying to cut it any more than he did.
So rolling up to the hoop, sending blue behind the hoop. Not too close to the north boundary because it's a bit quick. And
Yeah,
the hill's off.
yeah. Keith mentioned that a few times, didn't he? That balls were disappearing off the north boundary.
Needs to keep going. Needs to keep going. It's runnable.
It's an Atkins.
So these are tricky.
Yeah. Is this a smoothie through, as Keith would say, or is it a slap?
You can play either.
Right. Okay.
With an ultra, you'd smooth it through.
Yeah.
And Atkins is going to put more resistance to that smooth stroke. Yeah, lovely shot. Excellent shot. And even that smooth stroke went off the north boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ever tempted to
Perfectly
rush to
good.
black?
I'm always rushing to
I
black.
look at it and just think, I can hit this to black.
Yeah, I'm rolling black from corner 4 if I don't get a rush.
Yeah.
So yellow's a perfectly adequate ball to roll to. This is the
No, he's not.
old-fashioned delayed TP, and he's rushed blue into
Six is
a
in the
really
line, isn't
bad
it?
place.
Yeah, 6 is in the way.
So he's going to have to send it to the right of hoop 6 and allow the hill that we think exists.
Would you not rather send? I mean, it's a bad line, isn't it? But I'd always rather it be on the left of hoop 4, just because that's where black is.
I think
If you
that-
had a choice.
I think the hill here can take it into perfect position.
Okay, but we've moved the hoops, remember?
Yeah, but that's not going to make a big difference over the entire lawn.
You think there's a big enough hill there?
There's a hill that's going to move it probably a yard.
See, even this he's playing as a bit of a...
So there it's gone. It's gone down there. I'm expecting it to hill
There's
now.
no hill there.
And it hasn't.
Only at
That's
the
gone
last...
straight. No, that went straight.
So,
And no, it's not a nice blue there, is it? I would have been wanting it,
If it was in the same position the other side of the hoop, you'd be very happy with
yeah,
it.
or even 2 yards further.
Yeah.
But he's
I
got a
don't
good rush
fancy
on
the
yellow.
take off though, do you? I mean, I want to be getting a rush out of hoop 3. I don't want to be taking off to black on this lawn.
Now this is what I call the most difficult shot in croquet. You make hoop 3, you hit yellow, and then you have to take off to black in corner 4. And it's a horrible shot. You can take off the lawn, you can take off 6 yards short and miss.
Yeah. He should get a forward rush, shouldn't he?
He should do. He hasn't. So now he's going to have to play a takeoff. Leave
And
yellow.
Why do you think he didn't get a forward rush? I mean, it was a tight position, wasn't he?
It was. It was.
And what's your advice to people if you've got a hoop like that? How are you making sure you're running it softly? Is it the height of backswing? Do you think?
Length
That's what I'm
of
thinking.
backswing is important.
Speed of swing.
Tempo. Not sort of really. You don't want to decelerate into a ball ever.
Yeah.
So you want to hit positively through it.
I think the backswing helps with that, doesn't it? Because if you've got a shorter backswing, you can only accelerate for a shorter amount of time.
Yeah. And the other thing, if you viewed the approach to the hoop, he played it with a slight half roll. He played it with his mallet pointing forward. And I would have played it with a stop shot and got the front ball an extra 2 to 3 feet further. And that just makes it easier to play.
That looks fine.
The
though,
gentle
doesn't
hoop
it? He's
stroke.
not in any trouble now.
It's further away than it looks. Yeah, this is much longer than Gabrielle's rush yesterday.
Okay, so what's this, a 4-yarder?
It's a 4-yarder, yeah. So Gabrielle had about 3 to 3.5 yarder yesterday that she missed. And that's a good confidence builder, hit it fairly in the middle. And now we'll be rolling black to hoop 5, trying to avoid going into hoop 4 and get past hoop 4 and past the blue for a rush back to hoop 4. But these shots can go wrong. So taking out the yellow flag, you're allowed to take out the corner pegs and the flag if they get in your way. We're playing a sort of 3/4 roll. Black to 5, and red looks like it's going on a really good line, good pace. That's a well played shot. Black's almost perfect, I would say there.
I always underhit black on that shot. I don't know why. Just always short.
So now he's in a good position to set up for a delayed triple peel, where he'll be peeling yellow, getting a rush to hoop 6.
And do you have any intelligence as to his completion percentage from here?
It's very high.
Very high.
Very
okay.
high.
So he's favourite to finish.
I would say he's going to finish at least 90% from here.
Blimey, okay, that is good.
That is really high. He finished a quadruple peel starting on hoop 4 against Dave Kibble.
With the peel after 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sort of a standard
Standards.
one.
Keep it.
But this won't cause him any level of difficulty. It's just a matter of keeping your concentration
Yeah.
and making sure your pioneers are in a good place.
He's got good control now, isn't he? From where he was.
Well,
he shouldn't be playing any difficult shots now.
one of the things I'm going to say is he's about to play a difficult shot, Jack.
You think he's going to play the takeoff, do you?
I do.
Yeah.
And I like rushing yellow south and croqueting it back. The more important ball here is blue.
Yeah.
Blue needs to be a good escape ball.
I don't like the takeoff from yellow, but I also don't really like the rush because, again, I tend to not give myself enough space to croquet it back up again.
Right, I'm always happy, rushing it a couple of yards off the south boundary.
Oh, off the boundary, blimey.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So I don't need to play a stop shot.
Right.
One of the things you should say is black is a really, really good hoop 5 pioneer to
Yeah.
play takeoff to. You can finish short of it and rush it in front.
He's not done anything with blue there. I'm surprised at that. I thought he would have moved it north.
I would have thought it was going to go further north and a bit closer to leave a shorter rush to hoop 6.
I mean, he could have got yellow tighter as well, couldn't he?
I don't care about yellow.
Yeah.
That's because I'm happy hitting yellow. If I don't get a rush out hoop 5, I want the ability to hit it from distance.
He's not going to be peeling yellow from any closer than it is now, is he, to get his rush to hoop 6?
Yeah, it's going to be a much longer peel than I was anticipating.
I think he could have moved blue north there.
Probably 2 feet north.
This takeoff, I was instructed once upon a time by Robert Fulford that you should, if you do play this takeoff, play the takeoff as a takeoff to the ball, not a takeoff to rush position.
Now that's very interesting.
Because he just thinks that if you just play it as a takeoff, you're just making a roquet.
How interesting.
Just play it to make a roquet. Don't play it to get a rush.
Okay.
And then that's what he did, isn't it?
So this time he's again overhit the hoop, but the rush is okay. This is a cut rush that he can take somewhere useful.
Now,
Again, one of the reasons I don't like yellow a foot in front of the hoop, in that you might be approaching it from a little bit further away. And I want the ability to hit it from a couple, 2 or 3 yards away and not move it out of peeling position.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be playing this shot from closer, doesn't he? In an ideal world, he's moving red quite a long way in this shot. Now there has been quite a lot of interaction on lawn 3. Mark went to 4 back, I'm fairly certain, and Matthew was then doing something, but he's broken down again. So.
Yeah, he's failed hoop 4 again by the look of it.
I'm not sure if Matthew was going to be attempting a TPO in that turn.
But red looks like it's 3 yards in front of hoop 4, might have just bounced off the hoop.
Yeah. So that would be a good indication that the hoops are standing up if it's rebounded. So you wouldn't normally get that, would you, on these lawns?
Yeah, I mean we've seen a few shots where people have hit it into the far wire and it's gone through.
It wouldn't rebound back to 3 yards in front.
It would from an angle, but that's a good shot from Jose. The black's perfect.
Yeah.
The red isn't. He hasn't got a rush a bit closer, but now it's making blue look like a better ball.
Well, I mean, has he not
it.
just played that shot knowing that he can't rush yellow closer because of where blue is?
Potentially, yeah. So he should just tap yellow, moving it less than the ball here.
Yeah. I suppose one good thing here is he can play this straight, can't he?
And that's the whole purpose of leaving blue further away. You can play a straight stop shot and leave yourself a straight, if somewhat long, rush to hoop 6.
Yeah, I mean, he can take red north, can't he, in this shot?
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned yesterday is when you're peeling from this distance, the hill at the hoop can give you an eighth of a ball hill,
right?
And that might mean you draws it instead of peel it. So I think he'll be giving this a reasonably firm
I don't think he'll be
shot.
unhappy with a jaws here. I'm not convinced that peeling it is much better than jawsing it in this position, because you still end up having to go back and pick it up, don't you, after 6?
No, that's good. That's good. So he's got a nice straight rush at hoop 6, albeit a bit longer than I would like. And we expect after hoop 6 yellow's going to go to 2 back.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. If yellow's in if yellow's in the jaws there and you can rush blue to corner 3, I think it's almost a better position, because you can. I mean, you are putting your 2-back pioneer out from corner 3, but you can put blue over to 2-back and do your little rush peel and then try and play a little roll, putting yellow in front of penult.
So, taking off potentially down the hill.
He's
here.
down the hill, but
Oh, he's done it well. That's fine. I think the hill is not going to be as significant. It's been a key feature of Lawn 4 so far. But I think the hoop moving is going to just take it out of play a wee bit.
oh dear. He'll be disappointed with that, won't he?
Hit it very gently, but you have to hit these hoop shots
Yeah.
gently, because we've seen the smooth ones run the hoops by 6 and 7 yards still.
I don't know if we've got a replay on that one. Yeah,
So
here we
here
go.
we go.
Oh,
And it looked like it just hit the left-hand wire.
no, I didn't see it.
So my 90% completion rate's gone down the tubes.
Well, you can give Keith some money back.
Yeah, he's probably back down to 500 now, isn't he? But now we've got an interactive stage, and Robbie.
So that
has
was
some-
near wire first by the look
I
of the
think
replay.
so. I think so. Robbie's got some choices. He could go to 1-back and make a sextuple leave. He could peel yellow out.
Yeah, I wonder if he fancied a peel on yellow.
Just putting another option out, he could, from here, peel red through 6, 1-back and 2-back, to do 3 pops.
Nah. What?
Or he could just
I'm
have a
fairly
basic.
sure he won't be doing that. I don't think anybody would be doing that.
What about a basic ball to 4-back then? Nothing exciting. Get your confidence up.
I think he's going to want to be doing something. I suppose that's one of the things that I just notice about the top few and the top rest, as it were, is they always just want to be doing something a little bit more. I mean, you mentioned yesterday in commentary that Mark sort of probably unlikely to do anything out of the ordinary, and I just think on these lawns, you know, he's not going to be scared of this position, is he? I mean, he's going to be thinking that he can do pretty much whatever he wants with this turn.
He should be once he makes hoop 1.
You know, he's rushed to there. It's a bit more tricky, isn't it?
Oh, it's a nice rush line to take back on. He should get a good rush to 1 here. Yellow's not in the way of the rush.
I don't think.
I think we've had an error on lawn 2. It looks like Tom Balding was doing a straight rover peel to finish, and now he's on rover and peg.
I don't know if Alan's had any play in that one yet.
Yellow's definitely on hoop 1
No,
still.
we should mention as well, Andrew Gregory's here, isn't he?
Andrew doing text
So
commentary
he's doing text commentary
on Croquet scores.
So you will be able to keep more up to date than we can keep you informed. I'm not sure. He was in the manager's tent, so he might be doing lawn 3 or all of the lawns. So check that out.
So Robbie now got his take off.
Any chance of getting yellow in the way here?
Shouldn't be.
No.
He's given himself a lot of room there.
Yeah.
That's a much longer rush than I would be wanting. I want half that distance.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think he's going to be doing, you know, if he makes it 1, I think he's going to be doing something. Although the way he started this turn, he might settle for just getting the balls under nice tight control. On your shoelace, if it was football dribbling, you'd say it was on his shoelace.
Oh, it's a good rush.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard, might reach the boundary, but it's a lovely line he's put it down. How far is that going to go? Not quite to the boundary. Now, he'll be very pleased with that. That's a good shot. Now, we saw when Jose approached it, it hilled to the west.
Only at the last
A couple of yards.
section, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And how close is he going to be going? He's what,
Not very.
3 yards away? Is he 4 yards away?
His normal shot here is to
2
punt
foot.
black quite a long way north,
Yeah.
leave himself a 4-foot hoop and just run it.
Blimey.
And he might even run it to yellow, Jack.
Right, okay. Well, obviously I'm not as good as him, but I'd be trying to get closer than that.
That's the big stop shot, sending black a
Yeah.
long way north.
Blimey.
Lovely shot, actually.
Closer than 4 foot, I think.
But look how far that black's moved.
Yeah. You don't want to run it by a few inches now,
You
do you?
do not want to run it by a few inches. So nothing too difficult about straight hoops with Atkins. Jose has just failed a fairly straight one at hoop 6, but if you can give it a little bit extra, he's got a shot you wouldn't want here.
Oh, I'd be worried about missing it.
Yeah, it's just that little bit. Oh, it took a.
That was quite into the far wide, wasn't it? It took a lot of speed out of the ball. He wouldn't miss it with Reggie's mallet, would he?
Would definitely not. That's in the middle.
Easy.
So he's done the difficult bit. He's made hoop 1.
Yeah.
Now we get to see what is he going to do.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to do 3 pops here.
I don't think he's going to be doing pops. I'm fairly certain that he won't be looking at that. Yeah.
Is he going to peel yellow out?
I think he might be tempted to peel yellow out. I mean, this is interesting though, isn't it? Because he's been doing his TPOs and doing DPO, going to 1 back and doing a DPO, as we mentioned, or you mentioned the other day, it gives you the opportunity to get 4 peels on partner.
It does. The difference here is red isn't on hoop 1. So
True.
instead of having the big lead, red's already made 5 of its hoops for the 2-ball game.
That is true.
So I'd be surprised if we end up with a 2-ball game
He's
here.
played that along a line that might suggest that he was looking at a pop.
I don't want to dribble this. This is a nasty part of the lawn. I don't want to dribble it.
That was a strange. I would have just assumed that he was going to be rushing red to yellow there.
Oh, well, we'll have to see. So he has just hit that.
True.
There's no attempt. He's not
So
popping.
why did he not go the other side there?
I guess he's just guaranteeing not being crosswise from it.
Yeah.
So he's taking off from that. Is he leaving it in a position where he can rush yellow in front of Penult after hoop 2? Peel Penult getting a rush on red north?
Well, he's taken off to the wrong side if he's doing that.
Well, he'd want to rush on red north, so it's not a bad place for red.
Yeah, I think if I was doing that, I would have taken off from the other side. Surely you want it more level with the hoop, don't you? That's north of the hoop.
It is north of the hoop, yeah. I still think he's quite likely just to go to 4 back.
Right, Paddy wants, I don't know when this comment coming, but he does want an update from the other ones. So I'll go and do that. I'll go and look, and then by the time I've got back, I'll probably have forgotten.
So Malcolm's asking me, is this roll from corner 4 to hoop 3, is it safer? And obviously it depends what your strengths are. Jose's very good at rolling, he's very good at single ball strokes, and he's perfectly good at delayed TPs as well. So what's easier? Well, I don't like long takeoffs, and I would much rather have a standard TP to a delayed TP. But yeah, there's nothing wrong in just playing that tidy pickup. I didn't like where he rushed to after hoop 2 to get hoop 6 in play, but certainly a valid line of play to just do a delayed TP, and he looked under nice control until he broke down. So we're going to go and get an update for Paddy from the other lawns. Jack's going to have a wander down there. But I'm going back to this turn of Robbie's now, and I think he's going to do a basic ball to 4 back. And I'm thinking maybe something like the yellow ball in hoop 4 for the leave. So a sort of NSL with yellow in hoop 4. Won't rush very close to hoop 6. Just trying to get a little bit of play under his belt before he extends himself. He's already got the error out of Jose, and he'll be thinking, look, if Jose's going to make an error a game, I'm going to win probably 3-0. hasn't been forced to hit in. He's had 2 shots so far, missed both of them. And again, the ball Jose had at hoop 3 was sort of south of hoop 3, not in a dissimilar position to where red is now. And I don't like rolling from corner 4 to a ball that's north of hoop 3, but something that's south like that, you can just leave yourself short on it, give yourself a 3-yarder, and you should be okay. So red going to hoop 6. Still no sign that this is anything other than a ball to 4 back from my perspective. Still got chances to lay up at 1 back if he wants to. Okay, Jack's returned, so what can you tell us, Jack?
Right, Rob's having some interest. He's gone to 4 back and he's now on ATP, and he's peeled 4 back on the way to 3 back.
And he just failed 3 back.
And he's just failed 3 back.
That's another Atkins victim.
And it was a strange position because he was peeling 4 back with an escape ball at 4 back to rush to 3 back. But the other ball was on the east boundary, sort of roughly level with hoop 3.
Oh, okay.
So he's obviously had some fun. Thomas is for peg and peg, and Alan has just started his first break with his first ball. And on lawn 3, Mark Avery is for 1 and 4 back, and Matthew is for 3 and break, and he is coming around to 1 back.
So the fact that he's for hoop 3 and break, do we know whether Mark popped him to hoop 3?
No, he didn't, and the only reason I know that is because I saw him on the lawn earlier, and I've got a feeling that when he was on the lawn he was looking at a TPO earlier in the game.
So we think Matthew's made 2 or 3 errors already.
Mark just told me he'd just hit a long shot.
Okay, but he's obviously got to hoop 4 and then broken down again. So
yeah, his clip is on 3, so we said before, didn't we, that we thought he might be for 4, but his clip is definitely on hoop 3.
No, that's the yellow clip, isn't it?
Yeah.
The red clip was on hoop 4, and that's the one he's playing his break
and now
with.
he's playing. Okay,
so he's broken down at 4, he's broken down at 3,
right,
and he might have broken down at 4 a second time.
You're ahead of me.
So, having really played very well for the last couple of days, that's a weak start from Matthew.
Yeah, and Rob definitely went to 4 back because on the scoreboard it had 9. So,
and yesterday on one of his games, or was it against Blake, he had an STP. And it's really unusual for Robert
but
to...
does that indicate a sextuple?
No, it wasn't.
No,
It was a ball to 4 back, and he said he just never got the balls under control.
No.
And he peeled, I think he jawsed 4 back before 3 back.
Yes.
And then finished with an STP.
Yeah.
But
well, it's better than a Burridge TP, isn't it?
It is better than the Burridge TP. That's where the ball never hits 4 back, the peelie never hits 4 back.
It always stays somewhere close, though.
Yeah. So there are just these hints from Rob that he's not on top of his game.
And do you think, because I would have always expected that the fact that Reg had gone out, I would have always expected that would, I mean, he's not a pumped up kind of man, is he? But
no.
I would have kind of expected that would have given him a little spring in his step.
He will. He'll know that he's the only person who's capable of getting to 6 World Championships this event now.
Yeah. But I was looking earlier and he's not won one for 20 years, has he?
Is it really 20?
I think I've got it here, haven't I?
That does sound like an amazingly long time, but you may be right.
Yeah. 2002.
21 years.
So he's due one.
He is due one. That's right. So Robbie here, I think he's just swapping. No, he isn't. This is a 1 back leave.
Oh, finally.
Okay. So
this is going to be a sextuple then.
We think it's a sextuple, don't we? So really good. We haven't seen many of these.
Now that was an interesting shot on yellow. We weren't watching properly, but he rushed that quite far away from the hoop, didn't he?
He did, and he's going to be sending, after hoop 6, rushing red south and sending red towards corner 1.
But where it was, it looked like it had a massive area on the south boundary where he could have put red.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way away from the hoop to be able to rush it towards the hoop as well from where it is, rather than hitting it away.
I don't know if he would have been better just keeping it a little bit close. Anyway, he's put it back. So he's put it back to nearly where it was, hasn't he?
Yeah, wants to rush out of hoop 6, back down to hoop 1.
And is he leaving, which, in an ideal world, is he leaving the ball on the boundary in corner 3 wide?
No.
You don't think he is?
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's leaving the ball near corner 3 open and the other ball wide.
I wonder whether it's there's any argument for the other way round. Just so that when you hit the in-lawn ball and the other ball's on the boundary.
It's interesting for this clip position, because this isn't a standard clip position, is it?
No.
So I think it has some validity there.
Is there? Yeah, I mean he's going to want yellow to play, isn't he? Because red has got a finishing turn, hasn't it? So
Yeah,
red's going to be going towards corner 1, isn't it?
This concept that you've put out of wiring the ball in corner 3, if you then put the other ball 5 yards away,
Yeah.
it's really difficult to pick up a break.
It is difficult to pick up a break.
Whereas normally they'd be on 1 and 1,
Yeah.
and it would be easy because there'd be a ball at the hoop.
Yeah, it might be in the corner. It might be close to corner 1, mightn't it? But you've still got an approach.
Yeah, I like this concept of a ball wide in corner 3 and a 4 or 5 yard wide join.
You need quite a tight crosswire for that, I think, don't you? And there's not many space. There's not a lot of space where you can have it wide from both balls if they're a long way apart.
You'd need,
unless you can use the peg, I suppose.
Well, you'd need the crosswire on this line.
Yeah.
This corner 1 to corner 3 line, and yellow would need to be away from the hoop, so it's not got a hampered backswing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good line of play. I like it.
So we haven't had any crunches this morning,
No, quite remarkable. These are all competitive matches, aren't they?
and we've been going. What's the game time on this? Have we got that anywhere? We started maybe about
About an hour and 10 minutes.
just around about.
Hour and
So I would have
5.
expected one game to be finished by now
Yeah,
across the 4 lawns.
yeah, definitely. Matthew's gone to.
The Atkins team will be claiming that it's all down to the Atkins hoops, I suspect.
Well, we've certainly had some hoop errors, whereas normally what I've found at Hurlingham so far this tournament is the errors have been speed errors.
Yes.
So taking off the lawn, or hitting a ball, sending your hoop 3 pioneer closer to corner 3 and then breaking down because you've lost the ball out of your break.
Yeah.
So very much speed errors rather than hoop errors. Players have been able to get away with running an angled hoop, and Matthew certainly didn't run hoop 4 from that angle, and Robert failed 3 back from a slight angle.
Who was the game yesterday that we were watching on this one?
Mark Avery against Gabriel Higgins.
There was another game that we were watching at some point on this lawn, and there was somebody who had a really nice gentle hoop stroke. Who was that? Was that Matthew, wasn't it? Matthew Essick. No, not Matthew Essick.
I don't think so.
I don't know who it was. You spotted it. You picked it out before he played it, and
Well, Gabrielle's hoop stroke started off very
maybe
nice.
Maybe it was Gabriel's then.
And then she obviously made an error at 6, I think, from memory.
So it doesn't look like he's got to move this yellow ball, does it?
No.
It looks like it's already wide.
So he's got the line right for this very cunning leave that you've highlighted. I'd always be looking at, has yellow got a hampered backswing? Because nothing worse than playing an opponent who suddenly creates a really long backswing.
Yeah.
And
I think. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of space, is there?
I think a ball in corner 3 is going to be open.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm just looking at on the screen. I don't think there's many places you can go to get the boundary ball wide.
So what about 2 yards west of corner 3? Is that going to be a potential?
I don't think so. I think it
area?
needs to be further than that. Have you watched a Robbie sextuple?
I've watched a few, and one of the things I was going to say is I chatted with him a couple of years ago, and I said, "Don't you? How are your sextuples going?" And he said, "Oh, I don't think they're really good. I do them about 90% of the time."
So he's coming across. Is he going to roll his partner across? 90%.
And I was amazed.
Yeah.
I thought, wow. Well, the guy's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. I thought 90% was high. One of the things I think we ought to mention here is if the sextuple doesn't go very well,
Yes.
and let's say it goes down to a straight quadruple,
Yes.
he can abort it
Yes.
and DPO the yellow ball.
And that's one of I think that's worth remembering. You know, if he is at any point going to go to 1 back with the opponent on 1 and 4 back, he could be doing the first peel, couldn't he, on his way to 1 back?
He could.
The first peel of the TPO.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. So he's left black in the corner, which is open, we think, on both red and yellow.
Fairly sure that's open on both.
Definitely open on yellow.
Yeah. And now he's going to be getting blue wide, presumably, is he?
Yeah, and he
Doesn't
wants
look too difficult, does it, from where he is?
My understanding is one of the reasons he's got this mallet is that after they miss into corner 3, he can stop a ball almost to hoop 2 and hold for a rush on blue.
Well, you said that at the Opens, I think.
Yeah.
And he didn't, did he?
No,
he put it out as a
Hoop.
ball beside hoop 6.
Yeah, didn't get it as far as I expected.
That looks like it could be wide, doesn't it, I think?
So yeah, blue looks wide. So long shot from Jose. There isn't a big difference here between playing red and playing yellow. Because if you play yellow, you can make 2 hoops and a really strong leave. And it's probably 5 yards shorter. Obviously, playing red, you can just finish, but it's 5 yards longer. So a bit different to being on 1 on 4 back. I still think he's going to play the red.
And what is the chances at this level? Would you say these are hit? I was thinking I'd hope that I'd hit at least 1 in 20 of these. I'm sure at this level it's probably a lot better than that.
I say 1 in 7, so 14%.
Okay, that is good.
That's mine.
So your lift shot must be 1 in 5 or less than that then, 1 in 3.
Hitting a lift shot, statistically, was 1 in 3.
Yeah. I'm surprised at 1 in 7. It feels like it should be a lot less likely than that.
I remember, I think Reg in New Zealand had a 3 consecutive hit against him by Toby Garrison.
Yeah.
That was probably in the 2002 Worlds.
Okay.
Toby just kept hitting them.
And Matthews just jumped through hoop 3, so he's struggling, isn't he? He's not got the balls under his control as much as he'd want, but he has now seemed to have a break.
So here we go, Jose at the red. Red at black. Close.
He likes it.
Close. Ooh. And now, one of the more interesting turns you're going to see this tournament. I'm assuming Robbie's going to go fairly full out for the sextuple. At what stage, if it goes wrong, might he change to a double peel on yellow? We'll have to see that. But I am expecting a full-blooded go.
He's got 6 hoops, hasn't he, to keep going on his sextuple with a striker's ball.
Yeah.
So Paddy's just said he had 3 tea ladies, I'm assuming he's talking about now, hit against him in a row. In March, so where would that have been?
So that's probably in our invitation.
Okay. So that wouldn't have been a match, that would have been the round robin, would it?
I'm trying to remember how we played our invitation this year. We have been playing match play quite a lot, but it could just have been the double round robin.
So you think it's?
I think it was a double round robin.
He's
this
not
year.
sending red to 2 here, is he? He's putting this towards hoop 3 by the look of it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have a really massive stop shot, which is what we have been saying he has got.
What is his ratio? I thought it might be about 8 to 1.
I think that's could be 9 even.
Oh, blimey.
But he isn't sending this to hoop 2. This is just digging it out, focusing on getting a rush on blue, hopefully to peeling position straight away.
That's a strange.
So
I mean, he's not put any effort into getting red, really, has he? He's just sort of played quite a natural, nice, easy stroke.
And perhaps some viewers are wondering why we're thinking about getting red further out, and it's to enable you to peel 1 back before hoop 2.
I just wonder whether that indicates anything, that he's just done that straight away, or does it just indicate that he's just trying to get the break started?
I think he's just trying to get this dolly rush, which he has got, to 1 back and peel 1 back before
Maybe
hoop
he
1.
just fancies rushing it right in front.
It's quite a good yellow to peel to. It's gone too far.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
And indeed so far that you're going to have to do a little bit of work with a thick takeoff.
I mean, leaving red there now is so far apart, aren't they, red and blue?
Yeah, you're not going to be peeling until after hoop 2 now. And that immediately takes some tempo out of the turn. So, very useful comment from Duncan Hector, one of our lawn experts, about this potassium silicate I mentioned, and he says actually it's only cost £7 per monthly treatment.
Per lawn, I guess.
And I'm guessing that's probably right.
Yeah.
So any clubs looking to hold a major event and just wanting to speed their lawns up a bit, well, potassium silicate's the thing to do. I'm sure Duncan will be able to supply you with that. Not a great croquet stroke there from Robbie.
No, I don't think he'll be worried, will he?
Good cut rush.
You have to worry about things like that, Chris, if you can play little croquets like that. Although we were talking earlier, weren't we, and before we started the commentary, and I was saying, I wonder whether Gabrielle's ended up leaving herself about a 3-yarder, didn't she, in one of the turns yesterday? And you'd usually expect her to hit that more than 9 times out of 10. But whether she was just thinking of the playing the situation rather than balls, maybe. I don't think Robbie will fall into that trap, will he? He's pretty experienced, isn't he?
Again, one of these hoop approaches from not far away, where he's punted yellow,
pumped it right down,
all the way down, just allows him to hit this hoop stroke a little bit more firmly. That's good. Nice rush to red.
Yeah.
Can get a better hoop 3 pioneer now and move red over for the...
So that's why he put red there.
I think he was just focusing on that rush to 1 back. And he'll be disappointed not to have got it into a position where he can have a go at the peel going to hoop 1. So we haven't seen many of these sextuple turns, so it should be good watching.
Yeah.
Yellow will be a genuine hoop 3 pioneer and get a rush on red back over towards blue.
I think it's quite a nice turn for him, really, isn't it? Because he can have a go at this sextuple to try and get in, sextuple mode, as it were. But he knows at the back of his head that if he needs to, he can just change to a DPO and still be in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't, doing the DPO is not guaranteeing him to win, but he's still in a good position.
That's a little bit short on black. It's okay, he can rush it to the north boundary. And it's going to be his escape ball. So after making hoop 2, he's going to peel blue through 1 back and go to the red.
And where's he going to be putting red?
I would have thought about maybe 3 yards southeast of the hoop. You want to peel 1 back firmly, don't you?
Hang on, I'm still trying to work out where southeast is.
Towards corner 4.
Yeah.
And
3 yards. So 3 yards is not a lot, is it?
You can peel 1 back all the way down to 2 back then.
But these these sort of peels where you're trying to peel one back to two back, I always think you need to, if you watch Rob or Reg do these sort of peels, they're not hitting those hard, are they? They're
No.
just trying to get the front ball rolling.
And get a smooth contact and get
Yeah.
a consistent amount of pull.
Yeah. Yeah, you see a lot of people sort of give it the old heave-ho and they just end up sticking in the jaws, or quite often just go through by a couple of yards.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much harder, doesn't it?
Yeah. One of the things I mentioned when I was commentating on Reg is what a beautiful ball striker he is for his peels. He goes in very flat and gets a very consistent strike, and that's why I think he's really good at peeling.
Yeah, Keith was saying to me a few weeks ago that he sort of noticed how good Rob and Reg are at peeling, just the peel stroke.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of players who do sort of seem to struggle with getting things in the jaws, and a lot of the time it's not too much of an issue, is it? But
It's just purity of strike.
Yeah.
It's technique, being a good ball striker. And yeah, Reg is excellent at peeling.
I wonder how he's feeling. He sort of didn't seem quite see him himself when I spoke to him at Nottingham. He was a bit down about his GC loss in the Opens to Robert. Sort of suggested that he was a bit unhappy that he'd perhaps not put in as much practice as he had, in the last few years as he had done previously.
Oh, he's done a lot of practice over the last month.
Yeah. I wonder if that kind of stems from that,
Potentially, yeah.
because he got sort of saying to me that he was. I can't remember the phrase he used, but he sort of was hinting that he was good enough to win most of his matches most of the time, so he hadn't been practicing quite as much as he used to.
I think he used the phrase he'd been slacking off on his press-ups or sit-ups or something like that.
Something like that.
Meaning, he hadn't actually been putting the work in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
That's
gone past.
nice, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is. I think the lawn's fast enough that this is...
Well, I was looking at blue thinking I wouldn't want to be peeling it from that far away.
Now, he needs to play a good shot here. And I think the weaker players
I think
overhit
he's got
this.
this in his bag, this shot, hasn't he?
And hits it on
He's
the
on
wrong
the wrong
side.
side, yeah.
And this is already
Yeah,
the
it's
sextuple
unravelled,
going
isn't
wrong.
it? It's unravelled, unfortunately.
And that wasn't the lawn, that was just he hit it on the left-hand side of the ball, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So-
and I don't know. I mean, I just wonder whether his backs. What did you think? His backswing just looked a bit big there to me, but
Certainly he hit it a lot harder than I was expecting, but I was worried about that shot because of the pace of the lawn.
yeah. Now he's going to be going for the jaws now, isn't
Trying
he? Just
to get
get
the
this in the
jaws.
jaws.
Hasn't got the jaws.
No.
So the next time he can peel, he's going to hoop 4.
Yeah.
And at what stage, given the fact that he's got off to a dreadful start
I think
here,
he's going to be.
is this yellow
Yeah.
DPO
I
going to be
don't know.
started?
Well, Paddy's suggested maybe 2 off. Oh, you used to like 2 offs, did you?
Absolutely. So I played the Sonoma final against Debbie and had TPO and 2 balls off.
So 2 balls, but you're still giving lifts.
I'm giving lifts.
But she's not giving lifts.
Purely what it's saying is you're playing on a lawn that's so easy that you're not willing to have contact with 3 balls on the lawn,
Yeah.
and you think you're much better than your opponent, and if you get a 2-ball break you fancy finishing or at least making a lot of hoops.
Yeah.
And I did it in the 90s. Here I want to do a sextuple.
I mean, would Robert have clearly, the better player, but would he be much more likely to win a 2-ball game against Jose, especially with Jose already on 6?
No, it's going to be 60-40.
Yeah.
That sort of game. I want to get 2 peels of this sextuple, and ideally leave
I suppose. Sorry, go on.
leave blue in the jaws of 3-back. If you can leave blue in the jaws of 3-back, Jose cannot approach hoop 6 from the contact.
I suppose one good thing that you could say about 2-ball ending and the opponent on hoop 6 is if they're in front of hoop 6, they're not controlling the lawn, are they?
They're not. So you can take position
You
at
can
your
take
hoop,
position.
but you can't take position at one back.
No, but we're assuming that he's going to get a peel or two.
Yeah. So I'm wanting 2 and getting the ball draws in 3 back. Is it worth
The
having
other,
a
the
li-
other
little
option,
go?
the other option, which he might think about, is on the south boundary with hoop 4 in the way.
Yeah. Yep. Again, I don't think you can get it sufficiently in play to stop them rolling 2-3
You
yards
can get
north of the
somewhere,
peg,
can't you? Yeah.
running a hoop.
Yeah.
And again, one of the benefits of this DPO or TPO and 2 off,
Look where he's put yellow there.
he's still going all out for this
Yeah, he's
sex
still
pupil.
going for the 6-2.
You mentioned he's got till 1 back
Yeah.
before he needs to make his decision, and if he plays a good rush here and peels it down, he's still peeling 2 back before hoop 5. It's still fine.
Yeah, I just wondered after those few shots whether he might just think, I just want to get into the swing. But what did he do yesterday? He was on the lawn a lot, presumably.
He did just some TPs, I think. Gavin really
He
didn't do anything.
So he
to-
won't feel like he needs to sort of warm up or,
That's
feel
not
like he's
in front.
playing well.
Not in front.
He'll feel like he's playing well from yesterday still.
He certainly won't feel he's playing well this turn.
Well, that was kind of what I was wondering after hoop 2. He just had a few shots, hadn't he? I just wonder whether he might.
So going back to Paddy's
Make it
point
easy for
about
himself.
this TPO and
Yeah.
2 balls off, one of the benefits of the direct TPO is you take this 14% out, this 1 in 7 of getting your 1 back leave hit. So you just do the TPO straight away, and you say, actually, I'm just a better player, I'm going to win the 2 ball ending. And there isn't a massive difference between 1v1 back and 1v1, I don't think. So I think I'm still anticipating a DPO here. He's not got any possibility of taking off, leaving blue in front of 1 back. He hasn't got the angle.
I don't think he's peeling 1 back now, is he? Until he gets to maybe 1 back straight. I mean, he's potentially on the way to 6, but then he'll want to be doing the penalty peel after 6, won't he? So
And yellow's in the wrong place.
yeah. So what's he going to be doing now?
And that natural route here would be to rush red back to blue, rush blue to yellow.
Yeah.
Rush red to yellow, rush yellow to blue, send yellow to 6, and rush blue to 5.
Yeah.
And then at least you got your DPO
That's
set
his
up.
first chance, isn't it, to get his 1 back peel now, 1 back straight,
Yeah.
if he can organise the balls.
And the beauty of that is you're making hoop 5 off blue,
Yeah.
which immediately goes to 1 back.
But yellow's closer to blue. Yellow is closer to hoop 5.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter when you're playing this sort of game as a strong player. You just say, I am going to keep making the hoops
Yeah.
and getting your polarity right. So yellow would be at 6 and blue would be at 5 to go to 1 back.
Yeah.
And you can still get 1 or 2 peels on blue still, while getting yellow through Penulton Rover and pegging it out. And it's worth that extra risk of manoeuvring the balls around the lawn to get the balls in the right hoop order, effectively. But he hasn't got rushed yellow here.
Yeah, I think most people, I mean, I know he's not most people, but I think most people would look at this and think you're making hoop 5 off of yellow. There's a balance, isn't there? We always say you've got to keep the break going in order to be able to do any peels.
Yeah. Yeah. So Marcus making some interesting comments online, mentioning the Morm TPO against Bamford in the 2005 Open semi.
How do people remember this?
Well, some matches just stick in your mind.
Yeah. But he wasn't even playing.
And he pegged 2 balls out, leaving 1v1.
Do you remember this?
And I do have a vague recollection of this, and
Okay.
it just sort of took Reg out of his comfort zone.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing with Reg. If you can
Yes.
actually get him thinking rather than just on autopilot. He's so good when he's on autopilot that you need to get him thinking about the game a bit more. And Marcus goes on to say that might have been one of the things that stopped Reg going to 4-back, and he ended up going to 3-back a lot and doing quadruples because he didn't like this pegged out ending game. So
Rob is just getting his break back, isn't he, now?
yeah, once again you've got an alternative way of doing things here. You can send blue just north of hoop 5, so that's the ball you roquet after
Reception
hoop
ball.
5, send it to 1-back and get a rush on yellow after hoop 5 back up to hoop 6.
I think that's more sensible, isn't it, than rushing blue to hoop 5. From the position we're in, I mean, yellow is so much closer to hoop 5.
It's certainly a good method if you've got a good stop shot.
Well, I mean, you can play to rush blue south anyway after the hoop, can't you? So you don't necessarily need a stop shot.
Yeah.
You're increasing distances, but
Yeah, what you can't do is you can't get a rush out of hoop 5 with blue in front of 1-back and peel it for 4-6. So you take
but
him that
I think
small
we knew he
percentage
was
out
never.
of play.
Well, yeah, I think we was.
There's nothing wrong with this line at all. He's rushed it onto a good spot, so he's approaching on the rush line. Blue will go north of 5.
Marcus's memory is so good that he thinks that you were beating Rob on lawn 2, so that might be why you can't remember all of it. And what colours was he playing, Marcus? Red and yellow or blue and black?
So nice set of shots there. Ideally, I think you want to run hoop 5 past blue and rush it south again. And then send it all the way up to 1-back.
I mean, that's getting the balls in the right place, isn't
Well,
it?
he thought he'd overhit that.
But that was a bit of a stop shot, because I don't think you'd see many people play that shot, would you, when they're that close?
James Death, maybe.
Okay, one person.
Yeah. Andrew Gregory, I'll give you another one.
Well, he's got a stop shot, to be fair.
But no, most people aren't going to have that ratio. And it does open up a whole load of other options for you.
Andrew Gregory might be someone with his mallet. You might pick him if you needed it. If you really needed a stop shot and you needed a sub to come on the lawn to play one, you might pick Andrew Gregory.
And then you tag team him off for the hoop stroke, though.
Yeah.
So, rushing this a bit further away so you can send it to 1-back, and getting south of yellow to rush it up to hoop 6 for the start of the DPO. And I think we're going to see 2 balls off, but I'm not confident.
It's
6-3 back, I think we'll see 2 balls off.
I mean, we're in a good position here, aren't we? But getting yellow in peeling position, you know, rushing it to the right spot behind red, croqueting it behind, it's not easy stuff, is it?
It is not easy, no.
You know, we're sort of just assuming that he's going to get this peel done, but there's a chance that yellow might not be in front of penalt before he runs hoop 6.
Yeah, he's made lots of errors in the turn. This black's going down a bad line.
Rush, has he?
The blue's gone too far. Admittedly only a yard, but still a bit too far if you're wanting a nice tight 1-back peel. And he's got a cut rush on the yellow.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's just not got the balls quite under, has he?
So got an interesting position on lawn 3. I'm thinking Matthew has peeled Rover and he's got a 6-yard return, having jumped through Rover. So a 6-yarder to take the first game. This is what Aston missed.
That's what I was just going to say.
Against Reg on the same lawn.
That was a hell of a game, wasn't it? I watched that. That was enjoyable.
Here we go. Matthew's 6-yarder. Playing it Solomon. And snicks it quarter ball. He's happy with that. That'll be game up to Matthew.
And Roberts played a shot.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Giving himself room. He's put it, what do you think, 5 feet behind the hoop?
I mean, that he'd be happy with that from where he was.
Very pleased. And I'm going to run the hoop past it and try and rush it back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on the line. It looks fairly straight, but he might sneak past it. And then he needs to find a stop shot from the north boundary somewhere, doesn't he?
Marcus has given you the obvious answer, that He clearly knows who
Yeah.
was playing which ball, because Lorne was playing red and yellow. I mean, dearie me, I can't believe you asked the question.
Yeah, what a stupid question.
So this is approaching up the hill.
Yeah, I think this hill's gone out of play. I don't think it's in play now anymore. Now they've moved.
Lovely shot.
And he's taken red quite far north there, hasn't he? So that indicates to me that he's not expecting to get past yellow to rush it back towards the hoop.
That's interesting. I think he will try. Well, he didn't. Or he's got more wire than he thought. So again, you can play this dead straight, can't you, with red there?
You can, but then you're rushing to corner 2, aren't you?
You are. And that's the fast bit of the lawn.
Well, he's got his stop shot, hasn't he? So he might not be worried. But I mean, I don't think I'd be able to get my 2-back Pioneer out and stay for a rush to 1-back.
No, it's tricky, but he has got the shot. Matthew pegs out to take game 1 against Mark.
I don't know if that's the first peg out, is it? I'm not sure if maybe Rob has pegged out a game and we can't see.
I can't see Tom's clips on the peg anymore. So I'm thinking Tom might have won or lost the first game. Did Alan win plus 2 TP? We'll try and get some feedback.
I don't know how
that.
Is croquet scores being updated sort of instantly, or I
no,
don't know.
not often.
Okay.
Often not.
I'll have a look. Right. There's a few shield and bowl games, but no knockout games on there yet.
So are you playing this straight, or are you playing it a little bit firmer with some pull?
I think I'd be wanting to try and sort of nudge black over behind red so that I'm rushing it maybe to the end of B-bulk and just settling for, again, hoping yellow just sort of lands in the jaws, or...
And from this range I'm going to play it straight.
And you're going to play it
and
straight.
Maybe accept not having a great 2-back Pioneer.
But I mean... It's hard, isn't it? Because you really do want this peel on blue, don't you?
You do.
So that blue now is looking quite difficult to me.
So let me put another suggestion to you. You peel this, and instead of rushing red to the boundary and sending it to 2-back, you send red as a escape ball just south of 1-back, rush blue in front of 1-back, Irish peel blue through down to 2-back, going through the hoop to red, which you've left as a escape ball.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do it. But I'm not very good, so...
If blue was a yard closer, I think that would be the line of play.
Okay.
But it's a bit far away, I think. It's a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Thanks to David Warhurst. Tom Balding obviously hit the lift. Or Alan made an error.
Okay.
And wins plus 17, game 1.
So that would indicate he hit the lift, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
17. I mean, Robbie might just be accepting that he's going to put red into the middle, you know, and just organise a rush to 2-back from somewhere near the peg. He's got yellow, hasn't he? So he can go to yellow.
Yep.
And then just try and get yellow in front of Rover, get a nice rush to 2-back.
You've even got the angle to croquet this as an escape ball for Rover peel before 2-back.
Yeah, I think I'd be looking at putting it more in lawn, but his line seems to be going fairly close to 2-back.
So can he keep control over the fast bit?
That's
no, he
fast
can't.
bit, isn't it?
That is the danger of going towards corner 2, as you mentioned. All this brown area, much faster. And once again, he's not going to be going for this.
I think I would have, from there, I would have been playing that straighter, red into the middle somewhere, and just accepting that you've got to organise a rush to 2-back.
I just think red, even 5 yards further, 4 yards further east, gives you a narrower angle and potential to peel.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's a straighter shot from what he played, less split.
Matthew's got a third turn break on lawn 3. That was a super shot ball by Matthew. Mark dribbled at it, and Matthew hit third turn.
He didn't even look at approaching the hoop to putting blue anywhere where he might be able to peel it after there, did he?
No.
I think that's sensible.
But I do still want one peel.
I think you
on
need
blue
it,
this
don't you?
turn. Oh my word!
Dear.
Wow.
He had a wedge, didn't he, a few days ago?
Let's have a look at this again.
Near wire, was it?
So, calling the referee on, the first thing you do is put a marker down where you played the shot from, just in case it's a wedge. The ball reacted unusually, didn't it? Whether it hit the right wire,
It looked,
I don't know.
It looked it. But so we've got another replay here. Oh, it sort of a little jump, didn't it? I'd be surprised if that was caused by the width of the hoop. It didn't seem to get into the jaws.
It didn't seem to get. Yeah. That's a quite interesting comment. Yeah, it didn't seem to get.
I think that
it
was
never
just-
got into the middle, did it?
No, I think
So
that
it's
was just a bad shot,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, I think so. And we haven't seen any of those with ultras, really.
Yeah. I think he'd be lucky if he gets a replay.
So black is now tested in the hoop on all rotations, and if it sticks on any rotation, Robbie has the option of a replay, which he would take, and that's why I think that
It'd be quite helpful to have a replay, wouldn't it?
that marker that you can see on the screen, just back from the hoop, is where he played the hoop stroke from. So it was really a short hoop, wasn't it, Jack?
I mean, I wasn't even, I'm just trying to work out what I was going to say next. I wasn't even considering that he might not run it. And these aren't the balls that are known for being slightly unspherical, are they? These are the
These are good.
version before.
There's a good set of balls, these. Lovely new.
Who's this ref? Do we know who the ref is?
Yes, this is Mike Cohn from Australia.
Okay.
He's flown over to come to the tournament.
Blimey. Dedication.
Lovely to see Mike over here. Still checking it. You want to make sure you check all the rotations because they're not 100% round, but they are pretty good, this set of Dawsons.
Quite a long first game. How we must have been going.
Well, it's
nearly 2 hours.
11:34, so thank you.
Thank you.
We're about an hour and 40 in, Jack.
So I would have expected a game to have finished by now.
And you won't be used to this, but we've just had the daily delivery of jelly babies
Yeah.
from Stephen Allen. So many thanks to that. We're keeping us.
I'm not going to have one till you do. Cause
Oh, well, I'll have one straight away.
Right,
in that
okay.
case. But are you? Do you bite the heads off?
They were showing me the setup in there before we started.
So Robbie's picked his marker up. He's happy that it's not sticking.
No.
Clips on the side. And what has he left? We haven't looked at that yet because he hasn't actually left the world. Red has to hit about a...
No lift because he hasn't run one back.
No. What do you think it is? 10, 11 yarder? Red at blue?
I can't. It's not got a very good angle on the camera.
About a 5.5 yarder yellow at blue.
It's not 10, is it? Because it's level with 5, isn't it? It's probably less than 10, I think.
It's not a double target. You shouldn't ever be able to miss blue.
145 we've had the game time on.
Yeah, if red misses blue by 2 balls, it might hit black. But otherwise, no. I do think there's a genuine yellow at blue. Your opponent is on 1 back and 1 back. You're going to get a lot of play.
He's got a 6 pioneer though, hasn't he? I mean, he's got 1 peel to do. He just needs 1 shot, doesn't he? That's
Yeah.
what he'd be thinking.
Yeah, but this is double the distance, yellow at blue.
I think it's the right shot.
So if it was Ewan, it's definitely the right shot.
I mean, Robert's not finishing, is he?
No,
He's
definitely
got,
not.
But he's got probably from here 3 turns to finish. unless he gives away a contact.
He's probably going to play blue at yellow and have a straight sextuple.
You think he's going to have a straight six?
So he's going to get some peels and peel peg yellow out.
True.
Probably 3 peels and peg yellow out.
Yeah, but he can do that even if yellow misses. You know, yellow's not going far away, is it?
Let's hit that.
Yeah.
Lovely shot.
Round of applause.
And as normal in the UK, English audiences tend to favour the underdog, don't they? So this isn't anything about, we don't want Robbie to win. It's we want the underdog to...
Well, if they know he's the underdog.
Yeah.
One thing I'm never sure of with round of applause is at the end of the turn, at what point do you clap? Do you clap when they've, not when they're pegging out, but if they've done a leave or something? Do you clap when they've hit the ball the last time, when the clip's gone on, when they've walked off the lawn? There's so many instances where you could potentially clap.
It is. I always like clapping once the ball's left the lawn. So if you've hit your last shot, say into a corner.
So after the last stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer. Marcus is still talking about some of your games from 2005.
You've got the wrong year, Marcus. That was 2009.
And he hasn't put on there what lawn it was either.
So it's 2009 I played Robin. Won a fantastic best of 5 where we both played really well. Robert had 2 sextuple peels and I had some nice stuff.
Seems a long time ago now, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not done the peel. Do you think that was on purpose?
I think it was.
Yeah.
You want to keep him on one back and one back just in case. But this.
So this is now almost getting on to 100%, isn't it, to finish here, surely?
Well, we're saying that, but we are seeing errors on all the lawns.
He's had an error, hasn't he? So
yeah.
Good for the match, I think.
Oh, much better watching.
For the spectators.
Yeah. Lovely to see top players make errors and almost try and work out why they're making those errors. So back there we mentioned Robbie had deliberately approached the one back Pioneer, which was deep, from corner 2 where the fast bit was.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was his error though. I think he just tried to play the wrong shot. I think he was too greedy with red, if anything.
Yeah, which again you mentioned the choice of croquet stroke.
Yeah.
So Jose again, not worrying about getting the yellow straight to rover. Lots of people who are improving go, right, I've got to get the yellow to rover.
Desperate, yeah.
And there's no hurry. All we're going to do is we're going to peel yellow, going 3 back.
I mean, your balls are going that way, aren't they? You're going down the lawn, and it's probably better to have yellow closer. If you don't get a rush out of one back, you've not got to play a big croquet stroke or anything.
On the downside, you do have to send your 3 back Pioneer out from a long way away.
Yeah.
So Matthew's made it round to 4 back, 3rd turn. Nice turn from Matthew. I like watching him. I think he's lovely, fluent, quick player, positive, aggressive. He's everything I want to see. And as you mentioned before, his croquet strokes and his tightness of his break, he's getting better every year.
The only one thing I'd prefer to, if I was watching him, and nothing to do with his play, but just use one grip, just for elegance, just use the same grip.
So that is well short as a 3 back Pioneer.
Interesting though, because I don't mind it. I think, yes, you're right, as a Pioneer it's short, but I'd much rather have it in a position where you can peel going to it. So I much prefer it there than closer to the hoop, but in the same line, so in the same north-south orientation, but further east. I think that's much more difficult.
So you're still sending yellow in front or over and peeling?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You're not having a second 3 back?
No.
Okay.
And I mean, if this was a Wiley peel going the other way around, you'd be more than happy where black was.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if this was United, I would have a 3-back Pioneer.
Well, we're not playing
But
at
we're not playing at
so
United, we're playing in easy lawn conditions, and he's done exactly the right thing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Matthew's 2 grips. So for viewers who haven't watched Matthew before, Matthew uses Solomon when he's shooting, generally over 6 yards, and then he uses Irish for under 6 yards and some sort of touch shots as well. And someone mentioned the opposite to what you said. They said if the game became more professional,
Right.
we'd see more people using different
Do you
grips for
think?
different types
That's
of shots.
interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But it's not, I mean, aren't we always sort of talking about repetition and executing the same stroke? So to me, if you're changing grips, you're not always repeating. I mean, a lot of us are playing with the same grip. We're still not repeating the same thing because we're not very good. But
Yeah. So he's done well.
So
he's
he's-
croqueted yellow nicely in front of the hoop.
so Matthew has gone to.
Ooh, sends the 4-back
He's not got a
Pioneer
4-back
into the
Pioneer.
peg. Now, are you going to take yellow south and send it to 4-back? And do a straight rover peel. That's what Jose's opted to do. Doesn't want to have to rush to 4-back from where blue is.
Sensible, isn't it?
Has he left himself enough room to stop this?
Now, you were saying earlier in the turn there was no rush to get this peel.
No. And there still isn't.
And there still isn't, but we are down to the last opportunity now.
And if he hasn't got room to send it all the way to 4-back, should he send it close
you
to
could
blue?
send it to blue, couldn't you?
2 bad Pioneers equal 1 good Pioneer?
Yeah.
Well, he's done neither. It's in no man's land. And he
I mean,
can't...
sending it close to blue would give you 2 opportunities to position it, wouldn't it? Sending it to 4-back would give you 1 opportunity to position it in front of rover.
Yeah. And Mark's missed the lift shot.
But Matthew's leave was fairly defensive, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he was joined on the east boundary with a rush on Mark's ball that was on the lawn, and he hit his other ball actually off of the lawn.
Yeah. So
on the
a full-foot
east boundary.
defensive third turn spread.
Yeah. But it still gives him a standard triple
Yep.
if he can organise the balls correctly. But
Yep.
makes it a lot harder for his opponent.
So black.
So he's got
to
some
Penult.
shots again to play now, hasn't he?
Yep. Needs to rush, and you want black to be a bit south of Penult here.
Yeah.
Rush yellow to blue, blue to 4-back, and then send out yellow with a croquet stroke to rover before penultimate.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to make this turn look a lot easier. I suppose it would have been fine, wouldn't it? It was just blue going into the peg, really. That's all that's derailed him. But what do you think that was? Was it just a lining up error? I mean, these balls are not particularly bad for Paul, are they? He's not been playing with the other balls, so he's probably not confused. Just lack of, maybe just lack of concentration.
Possibly.
Don't know.
Possibly. He has.
It was quite a crispy peg. It didn't just flick it, did it? It was quite...
Yeah, hit it in the middle. Yellow here, he's sending it to rover. I would have just rushed yellow to blue and got a dolly rush to 4-back.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Even if you're a yard north, you can still poke it down, can't you?
Yeah. So Matthew has now rushed into the peg.
Oh, another crispy peg. We've got crispy pegs all over the place.
And that means that having put a defensive ball
Yeah,
out
he's in
on the
trouble
west
now.
boundary, he hasn't just got a roll to hoop 2 going to a ball in the middle of the lawn.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to make hoop 1.
No.
So
Be interesting
Jose's
to see
thinking
what he
about
does.
this.
He might just roll that down to 1 maybe and join up. I don't know. He's probably quite agree. He's probably still going to try and make hoop 1, isn't he?
One of the good things is he's making it off partner,
Yeah.
so he can be quite aggressive here.
Peg's in play. He's missed it, so.
Jose's decided not to send yellow to rover, and I think that's very wise. Just
Yeah.
play a basic takeoff, get a good rush to 4-back, and we can send yellow down there before penult.
But this is, if black was a little bit south of the hoop, as you said, that putting yellow in front of rover is a lot easier, isn't it?
It is.
Now he's got a rush. Yeah, and we're talking
Short.
less than a yard probably, aren't we? Difference
We are.
in ball position of black there, but it really does make a difference.
And there was no poor contact there. That was a good contact between the balls. He simply underhit that shot.
The rush you're talking about.
Yeah. Good approach. Nice straight hoop. That's what you want. And again, I like the fact he stayed. He didn't go thrashy there, did he, Jack?
No, I was looking at it thinking if you run it to the boundary, the shot back might be a bit longer than you'd wanted, but
So, you don't want blue anywhere in play where it might block yellow's path.
and this is what we was talking about. He's now got a rush yellow north of black to give himself enough room, hasn't he, to get yellow down.
Or have a hit in
Well,
this
now
case.
he's got to hit him, but
But
and
he's-
these are the ones you don't just want to snick it, do you? So it moves
No.
so it moves an inch sideways, because
Yeah.
that's makes things tricky.
But yellow's is, blue's nicely out of the way.
It's
That's a
difficult
good
to
thing.
hit this and keep it sort of close now, isn't it? And he's going to be on the wrong side of the hoop, isn't he?
So this is being sent out probably from
Yeah.
about 5 to 7 yards further than we would ideally like to send it out.
I think it's quite difficult now, isn't it? I mean, this. You look at it and think, oh, that's an easy shot, but I don't think it is. You've got. I mean, the line's easy, isn't it? But it's very easy to underhit it, I think, or overhit it even. I mean, short's probably better, isn't it? If you're going to do anything, short is probably better than long.
Yeah, I agree with that. So red's a bit short. Yellow
Yellow's
is
short, but it's not great. And he hasn't got
Sort of.
past black, has he? So he's not going to be getting a forward rush.
yeah, it's 5 out of 10, isn't it?
So when he started this turn, I said he was probably getting on to 100%, and the way he's played it, it makes it look like he's nowhere near 100%.
Absolutely. Being joined by Dave Trimmer.
The mallet man.
You're very welcome. So
Fabulous. Oh, whoopsie.
How many of the players today are using your mallets? Have you counted up yet?
7 out of 8.
7 out of 8 using trimmers.
there we go. The question is the winner going to be using a
that is
trimmer?
the question. Yeah.
Who's the one that's not then?
Robbie Fletcher.
Robbie, of course, yes, of course.
Well, I could supply my book on a string and it'd probably still wouldn't, wouldn't it?
Oh, he's stuck.
Oh dear. Blimey.
He's stuck.
So these hoops are causing issues, aren't they?
This is a major change, isn't it? This is a complete change of how this tournament is being played. The change from ultras.
We're in danger of having a 3-hour
quad
game
race.
now, I think, Chris.
Oh, could easily be one back and one back. You'd rather be on 1 and 1, wouldn't you, Jack? You'd rather actually be on 1 and 1 than one back and one back.
isn't it? Didn't they used to? Well, I mean, he's not good at this, hasn't he? But didn't they used to call it the years of death or something? Or what's the years
death,
of
absolutely. The years of death are often 1 back and 4 back.
1 back and 4 back? Okay, but they're not ears then.
They're not ears, no. They'd be death clips, wouldn't they? So, yes. So,
We've got our money's worth, haven't we? I'm glad I came now.
Robbie, one of the things Robbie's going to be thinking is it better for me to peel red through Penult and have him rover and rover than Penult and rover? It's far more difficult to finish from rover and rover than Penult and rover.
I suspect. I mean, he might well just be thinking, how do I make my hoop? Bearing in mind to what's happened so far in this game.
Well, that's possible. He's got a very short roco with black. But he's
So,
got
so what are you suggesting he does? Hit red, roll it through.
No, I'm saying yellow hits. Blue hits yellow,
You want to take your 4-yarder or whatever, it's 3-yarder.
and then take off to red.
But
Brush
yeah,
peel
you
it.
always used to tell me that 3-yarders were scary, Chris.
Yeah, but I'm playing as Robbie.
Right, okay.
I'm not
You've got
in-
Robbie's ability.
I will guarantee you, I am playing black at red.
Yeah,
That is
as Chris
definitely the
Clark.
shot.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
my-
I
yeah.
think that's what I would be doing.
So that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. I thought Robbie might
Okay.
decide he wanted to get that peel and get to
Yeah.
rover and rover. Just makes it more difficult to lose in one
I
turn.
think that's kind of the kind of nuance that maybe players don't sort of think about now. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just people haven't been exposed to it. It wouldn't have been my first thought going on the lawn. I don't know. It's a thought, isn't it? But I'm not convinced many people would have had it.
So Chris Borlays asks, are these quadway hoops today harder to run than the hoops used in the earlier rounds?
It certainly looks like it.
I've been saying for years the answer is yes, but people don't believe me. So all I can say is make your own judgment based on the play.
Well, we've had interaction and they're not playing super advanced, are they? So
They're not playing on a difficult lawn either.
no.
They're playing on a lovely, smooth, basically flat.
Well, you say. I mean, what are we estimating the speed is?
13.
Yeah. So I mean, if they get much quicker, they will start to be getting difficult. I mean, 13 and a half, 14 is going to be tricky, isn't it?
But normally, when you've got a 13.5, 14 second lawn, it's patchy.
Patchy, correct. Yeah.
And here, whilst this lawn is patchy, so we've got this patch by corner 2.
Yeah.
It's normally patchy around the hoops, isn't
Yeah.
it? So you get glassy bits around the hoops. None of these hoop approaches are difficult. You can roll up from 5 yards to
Yeah.
any hoop without worrying about it.
Are you having a look at this peel now?
No, I'm not.
No. If we had the other hoops in?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not even considering it.
No, I'm taking a ball to 4 back. And I haven't started thinking yet about what leave I'm going to make because I've been so focused on maybe peeling red through Penult. So,
Or hitting a 3-yarder.
yeah. So what leave can you make for 1 back and 4 back? Giving a lift away against Penult and Rover. Immediately I'm saying a ball in hoop 4.
You want to be forcing yellow, don't you, somehow? A ball in hoop 4. Yeah.
Can't you just put yellow in hoop 4? And red over in normal hoop 2 NSL position?
Yeah.
How do you pick up a break if they miss a long lift? You have to play the cannon out of the hoop 2. How to hoop 4, sorry. So it
Well,
isn't
not
easy.
if it's in the jaw. What do you mean by in hoop 4? Are you suggesting that it's in the hoop or on the hoop?
Well, either in or on, so it doesn't rush to Rover, and if that's the case, it won't rush to 1 back either.
We're not. Yeah.
So it is quite tricky. Normally,
Well,
you would put a ball.
I think most people, if they were thinking that they were going to try and force yellow, would be having it somewhere near 1 back, wouldn't they?
Simply having it up by 1 back.
It's not that forcing, but it.
Red can shoot at it
Yeah.
on the lift shot,
Yes.
hit it, roll it to Rover, going to your balls.
Sure, but I'm just offering a suggestion that probably most people would think, okay, I'm achieving an objective on this, making this leave by putting yellow near 1 back. I agree with you. It probably wouldn't work. I mean, I don't think it would force anyone to.
Again, going back to the 80s, we had the 86 McRobertson here and the 89 Worlds, and Joe Hogan sort of swung the game a little bit in tactics, and after they'd seen him play, people said the only way you can force a ball to play is to peg out its partner ball. So Joe would always find the ball he wanted to play
I don't think
and
that's
shoot.
quite true. There is another way you can force a ball to play, because the second ball has to play on the third or fourth turn of the game.
Yeah. So I think he's got the hoop a wee bit in play here, going to red.
Yeah. So what's he doing? So he's putting out his 3-back pioneer now, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you keep picking out these things and you make it sound interesting, but I don't think it. I mean, there is obviously things that can go wrong, but I don't think there's any chance he's going to be anywhere near the hoop.
No. Well, it's just not a nice line to take this down.
I suppose it's percentages, isn't there? There's a tiny chance that
The more
hoop's
shots-
going to be in the way or
Yeah.
something, or he might get cross-wired or miss-hit it, or I don't know. But I mean, I don't think anybody playing that shot would be looking at it going, "Oh my God, that hoop's in the way."
So he's deliberately gone
That's
the
hard,
side of the
isn't it?
hoop that gives him a longer approach. He's going to be from straight, so as you say, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm still trying to work out the leave, but this yellow in or on hoop 4 is looking increasingly likely to me.
Yeah. And does it matter where we lay up as red and yellow? Oh no, as blue and black?
Maximum distance, I think.
In which side of the lawn?
I think I want to be east.
Yeah. See, again, I wonder whether some people would look at it and go thinking, well, I want to be close to one back.
The problem is, where do you put red in that case? You're starting to leave short shots.
I suppose, is there any argument for having a leave where you can play either? Because 1 and 4 back, there's you could still play your 4 back ball in the next turn, can't you? If you want to.
You could.
You're thinking you're going to try and finish, are you, from 1 back? Or
I'm definitely having a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to keep saying I don't think this lawn's difficult.
Yeah.
And they're proving that they disagree.
Well, as Keith said the other day, we are in the cheap seat, so we can't.
Looks like Mark Avery has managed to hit in,
that's good.
and is having an equalising break against Matt.
Can't see anyone else down there. There are balls on the lawn, but not
Yeah.
people. Won't be lunch. How have the lunches been? Have you been lunching here?
Yeah, I have. Quite nice. So this looks like a diagonal spread now.
Some quite long lunch breaks, it seems to me.
Well,
Normal.
it's a sort of quite a laid-back venue, isn't it? You know, you think you should do things at a leisurely pace.
We've got some time now. I mean, if this doesn't finish before lunch,
And then you have
could be an all-day gap.
40 minutes. You're
Could be an all-day
suddenly
match, couldn't it?
7, 8 o'clock at night. You're still playing.
If it goes to 5, I mean, I think that last night Reg and Alan didn't finish till, was it 7? Gone 7,
It was
I
late.
think.
Yeah. So I think
Well, so when you said you thought it was a spread, you thought, well, he's not going to stop at 4 back, is he? Oh yeah, he is, because he's still on his first ball.
definitely stopping at 4 back.
Yeah.
You can still make a new standard lead from here. You can still make a diagonal spread, but red is weak.
He's just going for hope and Jose misses by the look of it, isn't he?
Well, you say that, but you've still got to make a good lead, Jack. And I don't know what he's doing. I mean, this red, he is making a diagonal spread, and red is miles away from the peg. So he's got some work to do.
I suppose having red in the middle is better than having yellow in the middle.
So Paddy's mentioned it could be because the hoops are in new hoop holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in new hoop holes at Surbiton yesterday.
I wonder whether they'll move them every day or whether that's it now, whether that is their final.
That's a good
close.
question. Good question.
It'd
I don't
definitely
know.
be worth moving again, wouldn't they? I mean, if that is the cause of the failures we've seen, then it would be worth moving them every day.
Yes. So, I mean, I've seen the ultras used at the men's and women's, and they were just really, really easy. They've got round carrots.
So what?
You need
so,
square
so
carrots.
those are ultras. So what's a super hoop? And I don't know what
So
the
super
difference
hoop
between
is
all
an
of them are.
American hoop. It's normally got 3 fins on it.
Oh, the fins, right?
And they're very, very heavy.
Right.
And they go in the
But I can't
ground.
imagine the fins are very good, are they?
They can be quite
Oh,
good.
they're good, are they?
In certain soil conditions.
Right, okay.
Certainly, I think they're better than the ultras.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Ultras have got long carrots.
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't shown any of this level of
What,
bite.
what are the ones that are slightly oval uprights? Have we got any of them, or am I just imagining that?
I think you might be imagining that.
Yeah. Because I thought at one time people were talking about the oval shape of the uprights making it more difficult to run. Just making things up
sure.
again.
So Robbie didn't get a rush out 3 back, and now he's going to have to roll yellow over and get a good rush on red to the peg, or
OSL. We could be looking at
could
an
be a
OSL, yeah.
13 yarder. And if he's basically had a break and only going to make three hoops, no peels, and doesn't get something better than a 13 yarder out of it, that's another error.
It's not been a great quality so far. I'm sure they will pick. I can't believe they're going to play the whole match like this.
So needs a good rush here. Black north of red, so he can rush red to the peg.
Yeah. Again, I mean, he's not looked like he's going to break down, has he? But he has just not quite got the balls going where he wants them to go. That's in the middle, isn't it?
That is a very short shot with red.
Blimey.
I've already mentioned, well, first of all, he hasn't got a rush on red.
This is OSL now. We're in OSL territory, aren't we?
I'm immediately looking at red at yellow from B-Bolt,
Yeah.
rolling it to Rover, going to wherever he lays up.
I'm surprised. I mean, was he worried about he must have just been worried about putting yellow off in that stroke. It is a bit browner over there, isn't it, to be fair?
He's got 7 yards to play with there, Jack.
A lot more than that, isn't it? Yeah.
So is
I
he going to
wonder-
dare to try and cross-peg
You
these?
can't, can you? It's a long way away. He's got a line, hasn't he? So, but again, it's very diagonal, isn't it? I mean, if he's going to be laying up, by the look of it, somewhere around hoop 4 on the boundary, isn't he? If it's diagonal,
Yeah, definitely.
which is too short anyway,
Which
isn't
is
it?
pretty short. There's no massive threat with him being on 1 back and 4 back of the TP. He could finish, but it's going to be a good turn.
I think I'd rather be Jose at the minute.
That's interesting. I think it's finely balanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe fractionally Jose.
It'd be interesting. I would like to see the turn that Robert plays though next turn. You know, if Jose misses, just to see what his idea. I suppose there's still the potential he might just go for pegging out yellow.
Maybe. I would say that would be a
It's not good, is
error.
it? Yeah.
I think you want to keep him on Penulton Rover or get him to Rover and Rover.
You'd only be giving away a lift.
Don't want to peg him out really.
No.
And meanwhile on lawn 3, after Matt's 3rd turn ball round and failure 5th turn, Mark's going to go to 1 back, which is a big upset.
This is going to be a TPO.
So we're thinking it's going to be a TPO.
Yeah.
So he's crosswired at hoop 1 and he's going to lay up in 3rd corner.
And when I remember when we used to play normal advanced in this country, I seem to remember that the crosswire at hoop 1 was always done the other way, but now we seem to be getting people doing it from...
You do it the other way if they're for 1 and 1.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
If they're on
that-
1 and 4 back, you do
yeah,
it this
he's
way.
forcing a ball,
And
but-
just lengthen the shot for
Yeah.
black.
So
So Robbie is just... This is just falling to pieces now. He's rushed the blue into the red, moving the red off the lawn.
Right. Is there a replay of that? I don't think there is, but I missed that
here we
completely.
go. Here's the replay.
Is there? Oh, brilliant. I'm going to
Um,
watch it on this one.
and it's not even guaranteed Robbie's joining up now. You could imagine blue going into corner 4.
I didn't see what happened. That was the striker's ball went into red, was it? Or was
No,
it the,
no,
the,
it was
the rush ball, was it?
The rush ball went into red,
Right.
and which he'd put in the way
He
in
put
the
it-
previous
so he
croquet
was just
stroke.
trying to rush to the corner.
And
Blimey.
I'm thinking about croqueting blue to corner 4 and going into corner 2. That's what I'm looking at. I think that's his best line of play now.
I don't know what he's doing. I mean,
As you mentioned, he doesn't have to play blue next turn. He could play black. So putting his balls in corners as close to corner 4 as he can get,
Yeah.
and into corner 2 is the best he can do.
you'd expect Jose to hit, wouldn't you? But I don't know what he's looking at. He's lining up. He's not. I don't know. This is not a position that you'd want to be in, is it?
Oh, it's just been a nightmare turn, hasn't it?
Oh, well, he's going to roll them both off, Chris. He's calling for an umpire. So this is a croquet stroke, sending both balls off the west boundary. Presumably one down to corner 2 somewhere and one somewhere else.
I think he's rolling both of them off.
Yeah.
So blue as close to corner 2 as he can get. And I'm thinking
Probably,
peg high.
Well, I don't know if he's trying to go black as close to that as possible as well, just in case Jose misses. I think he might be trying to go as close as he can. And he doesn't have any trouble, presumably, with these rolls, even though his mallet's built for a stop shot.
No, he's got power. And the lawns are fast, so
Yeah.
you don't have to put a lot of power into it. So he's called Mike Cohn out to watch where the blue goes off the lawn.
He's joining up, isn't he, I think? I think he would have played it by now if he wasn't. Oh,
so this might leave a double. So he's gone off the north boundary. That's quite sensible.
Do you think that's what he was trying to do?
I do.
I thought it looked like it came off a funny angle. But
So he's left a 12.5 yarder from the end of B-bulk. My question is, does yellow have a double?
No,
I don't think
not
so.
that.
There's a
Not
ball
as
and
it lays.
2 balls between
They're
them.
miles apart.
So yeah, 2 or 3 balls between black and blue,
If he can get it to stay on the corner spot.
and a 12.5 yarder from B-bulk. So the finishing line is you lift red to B-bulk,
Yeah.
you hit the black, you rush blue out, put blue out as a side ball, or even between Penult and the peg, and then you rush 4 yards in front of Penult and you stop it past the peg down to Rover.
Load and hold, as
Load
the
and hold.
Australians would say.
So that's the finish. Jose might simply be looking at this going, no, I'm playing yellow. Red's on a boundary. It's not an easy
I don't
pickup.
think playing yellow's wrong.
No, I don't either.
I mean, yellow at red is very long, isn't it? How long is that? That's
Oh, we're not playing that.
well,
No, it's either red at black or yellow at black, I think.
yeah, just because it's short. He might be tempted to do something defensive. He's left the rush for his one back ball, obviously.
Which I would argue is an error.
It's a difficult pickup, isn't it? Well, that's why I wondered on the roll shot, because he came off the north boundary with black, didn't he? But, well,
You ideally want to be threatening a corner cannon
yeah.
for one back. Corner 2, corner cannon. So he's deciding which one's shorter. And he's fancying it from where it lies. He knows the north boundary shot hills a bit.
I mean, it's not a free shot, is it? But he knows that Robbie's not going to dig a break out. He's not going to have a break until he gets to
There's no threat
four
of
back.
finishing.
No, he's not going to have dug the balls out until he gets to four back it. So
Yeah. Quarter ball. Again, there's definitely a Spanish contingent
he's
in the
hit
crowd.
the right one, because he can just leave that there now, can't he?
Yeah,
Ready for his leave.
yeah. That's a good place to leave blue, in fact, for the leave.
It is a good place to leave blue.
Probably make Rover off the black rather than partner.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, it's very close, isn't it? But we did see Pete Trimmer go off in this corner. I think that was a bad shot that Pete played, but he might not get a rush pointing where he wants to get a rush pointing.
It's certainly more challenging than a normal shot moving a ball a foot.
Yeah. He's going for a rush to the hoop.
That looks pretty good
Looks
to me.
okay.
It'll either rush to Rover or red.
Now, if you're lucky or unlucky, you might cannon blue out a bit with yellow.
You don't want blue out.
Well, I know, but that's why I said it depends if you want it out or not as to whether it's lucky or unlucky. Oh, Mark. So Matthew on lawn 3 missed the long shot, the one back leave, and Mark has run hoop 1 with his second ball and is now calling a ref. I think it looks okay, doesn't it? I think he's going to...
Yeah. This is not very good. This is close to hoop 4 than Rover, I think.
Yeah. I see, when you said that, I did wonder whether I would rush to partner
No, it's not
first.
as bad as I thought it is.
I mean,
It's easier to make the leave if you make the last hoop off
it is.
black. And it has.
And
it
what is
hasn't
his
gone as
leave
far.
now then? So he doesn't want to be anywhere near
I'm putting
corner 3, does he?
black to corner 1
Yeah.
and joining up in corner 4 with a rush to penult.
Yeah. But he's going to have to rush that over to corner
Oh
1,
dear,
isn't he?
dear, dear. That is just bad. So he can't run that. It's just not runnable. I think shooting at red is completely valid. And then take off back in front of your hoop.
Do the technical guys, they don't keep a count of turns, do they? We haven't got a turn count. That would be
turn
interesting.
count.
Oh,
yes.
they do?
Wow. No.
No.
We got excited for a moment then. So I think he's going to shoot at this.
Yeah. He probably hits it.
If he misses, he'll probably leave a double.
These are the ones that people normally hit.
Oh, lovely shot in the middle. Very good. So
Take off back.
take
again.
off back
No.
and try and get yourself a runnable hoop.
2-yard position.
Yeah, sort of 5 foot, something like that.
But he's going to be. He's not going to be able.
It's running away.
He doesn't want to be
Wow.
going up there, does he? That's Black's hoop.
This does surprise me. I thought you just fancy taking off in front of your hoop.
Yeah, I think you've. But well,
It's much more risky. He's going to leave probably 8-yard short shot, 9-yard short shot if he doesn't get in front. But if he does, he might leave an 8-yard longer shot and
is he
be
looking at
able to finish.
Is he looking at getting a split shot to send red up the boundary and trying to? It's not got the angle, has he, to
No.
get in front of Rover?
No.
But Black's better where it is, isn't it, rather than being up there? Looking
So-
for some kind of wire, maybe.
Yeah. Getting wild from Black is
We've
useful.
not had any comments for a while. Oh, we're still on live. Well, I wasn't expecting this this type of game, I must admit. And is this? I mean, I think you just want to be making. You just want to make Rover, don't you? Because you are then only one turn away from winning.
You are, yeah.
He's potentially got the innings, but he's still 2 turns away.
Yep. So rolls up towards corner 3, potentially trying to get this hoop 5 wire. Leave a rush for red. Probably at penultimate.
It's not got a wire, has he?
No.
Can't see. It might be close, is it? Can't really see.
That looks like it's leaving a shot for Black through to corner 3.
Yeah, at his hoop. So, I said earlier I'd rather be Jose. He's now got the innings, but would you rather be Jose or
Now I definitely want to be Jose.
you think Jose's in control now?
This is a 25 yarder,
Yeah.
so it's not a bad leave. And I'd rather be penultimate Rover than 1 back and 4 back.
Yeah. Mark is lining up for the TPO on lawn 3 by the look of it.
Yeah.
Approaching hoop 3 with all the balls. Marcus says we're doing well in the cricket, so that's good. You a cricket man?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
cricket.
It seemed to be a bit worried about the rain tomorrow. Is the forecast rain here tomorrow?
Rain over the weekend.
Yeah.
On and off, showers I think.
Okay.
So Robbie taking this shot with 2 balls to hoop.
What do you think? Is this always, you're always shooting at them here, you're never shooting at blue?
I am
Shorter, isn't it?
I am always shooting at this. Yeah. If you shoot at partner, you can get yellow to Rover and just finish.
Yeah.
This is actually shorter and safer.
Yeah. Jose, it's got a bit of a sweaty shot to pick Black up if it misses, hasn't it?
I'm not sure he is going to. I think
Yeah.
he might just rush to penult.
In which case, at the end of that turn, he still might be 2 turns away from
Possibly, if he doesn't get a rush out to penult, yeah. Got it. Oh, hasn't got it. He was walking after that. Not often you see Robbie walk and then not make contact. Here we go. He likes it, he likes it. Oh, it does hill.
Was that?
Oh, it does. That was almost centre ball.
Right.
That was, yeah. He'll be disappointed with that. It's a good shot. Now, is Jose going to pick this off? Or is he just going to ignore it? I think he might ignore it.
I think in any normal circumstances he'd just turn around and hit it.
Really?
Don't you? In a normal game?
Here we go.
I think he would.
No. I'm definitely not picking this off.
What is it, a 6-yarder?
6-yarder, yeah.
I think usually he would. It's not a great rush by the look of it, the way he's lining it up.
No, but he's played it well.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Is he going to try and get a rush back to blue or back to black? I think you just take off
I don't
and
think
get a
he's
rush to
making
blue.
over in this turn now. He doesn't. Well, corner 2 might be more tricky than corner 3. Yeah.
It's a good approach, and he's played to get the rush to the easier corner, corner
Yeah.
3. Now, can he run a hoop with control?
Could be down to the peg, couldn't it?
It could easily be a little bit firmer. Yeah, so he's
Good
got
shot.
control out of that.
That's a good shot.
And this is pointing straight at corner 3, I think.
But he's got to go back up to corner 3. Oh,
What on
hello.
earth is that? That is one of the most remarkable shot choices I've ever seen.
Well, he's leaving black in a good spot. I was going to say he doesn't want to be joined up in corner
Sorry.
3 at the end of the turn.
That's just wrong.
Well, it is, yes. But he fancies the roll up.
So he's rolled and it's finishing a little bit east. Sorry, west.
Good.
Average. Average.
It's not nice, is it? He
Needs-
knows that Oppo is separated though, so maybe not as much pressure as it could be.
I hate this line of play, I really do.
I'm surprised. I mean, he seemed to have a rush that pointed straight at black, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the outside of the wire.
The
That's got
outside.
nothing to do with Atkins. That wouldn't have gone through a
So
barn door.
he is still 2 turns away from finishing.
Wow. Just wow.
I can't. It'd be interesting to sort of
So why would
know
Robbie
why
play
he wouldn't rush
black
the
rather than blue here? Surely you would play blue. I just think it's blue
Well,
at
I
black.
don't think he's made his mind up. I think that was just where he was. I think he was just sitting near the corner and he's just thinking.
Yeah, he's walking over to blue. You're quite right, Jack. I think blue at black is the obvious shot. 26-yarder.
And put out a 2 back pioneer going to them. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've got a game time of just coming up to 2.5 hours.
And it will be lunchtime, won't it, by the time this game finishes?
I would think so.
I wonder if we get into the number of turns in this game that we thought there might be in the whole match, or potentially could have been.
Already there. Oh, he's hit that. Super shot.
So there are some applause. So they're not only supporting the Spanish.
Now, I'm tempted not to even say this, but I can't resist it. You can send
I think he's going to finish.
this to 2 back
Yeah.
and get to a position where after 2 back you can rush it in front of 4 back for an early
Well,
go at the peel and try and finish.
I wouldn't be amazed if he finished after what we've seen. It's the kind of thing that happens. You have 2.5 hours of messing around, for want of a better phrase, and then all of a sudden somebody just does something quite good.
But yeah, big roll shot to start with. And you actually want to go to yellow, because yellow doesn't rush very well to 1
It
back.
doesn't. Hoop
So-
5's in the way, isn't it?
Yeah. So ideally making one back off red.
But they're close enough together that you don't need any. You just need a Roquet, don't you? On yellow, you don't need a rush. A rush would be nice, but
Rush would be nice. I still just go back to that running penult with lovely control, with a rush pointing.
I don't know
at
what he
black.
was thinking there. I mean, was it just the fact that black was right in the corner and he thought that he couldn't get behind it? I mean, I don't know what the reason for not going to black was.
And this has gone to red rather than yellow.
And black short.
It's not a great shot, is it?
It's interesting, isn't it? I wonder whether the lawns just haven't quite picked up the speed that they had yesterday. Because I would expect them to be playing shots like that fairly well.
Absolutely. That is a standard croquet stroke, really.
He's going for yellow though. Maybe because he spotted that it's
This
Not
is a
got a good
lot longer
rush line.
than Gabrielle's miss yesterday. A lot longer. In the middle, but now he's got to take off across the rush line.
Nasty now, isn't it? There's something in the air this morning, Chris. These guys just aren't quite on top form, are they?
No.
On any of the lawns.
No. Tom's had another ball around on lawn 2. And Logan's had quite a lot of play on lawn 1.
Mark is still in play, but I've got no idea what he's doing.
It's a TPO.
Well, yes, but I don't know where he's up to. Looks
think-
like he's at 1 back, is he? I think he's going to be trying the peel of partner on 1 back, going to 6 by the look of it.
Correct.
Yeah, see, someone like Mark, I wonder whether, having done the 1 back lead, the TPO is a higher percent of winning than the 6-2 ball.
It is. For Mark,
Yeah.
this looks good. That's a good shot from Robbie. Excellent.
Now, we've seen a few of these just hit a little bit too hard, haven't we? Just because of the speed of the lawns.
Yeah, and once you get past 1 back here, it keeps
Yeah,
going.
There's a chance that it could be off the boundary, but I don't think it will be.
That looks like a good shot.
Yeah. I think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, don't want that one back.
And this is his position where he's going to pump red quite a long way down.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And run the hoop with a little bit more firmness.
Yeah. Black or yellow is your 2-back pioneer,
Black's my 2-back pioneer, and yellow's getting pumped up to 4-back.
just in case you can get a rush.
Yeah. Good hoop approach.
Why is red there though? That looks like the wrong side to me. Am I just being overly critical?
I think maybe just to play a straighter croquet stroke to approach it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, he did fail this, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, nice shot. So rush this down,
Off
send
the
red.
boundary.
Yeah, I think so. Send it to a 3-back.
Yeah.
Go to yellow.
Yellow to black.
Yellow up to 4-back. Get a rush on black to 2-back. After 2-back, rush black, hopefully in front of 4-back.
If Keith was here, he'd be betting you that he's going to finish now. Try and win some of his money back.
He would. There's a definite chance.
I think this is the sort of turn that happens, you know, just, I don't know what it is, just something about croquet, you know, you spend a few hours, like I say, sort of not quite doing things properly, and then all of a sudden something happens and you get some letters at the end and everyone goes, oh, that was probably a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic now that we're building this historic resource of YouTube footage of these major events, and people can look back and they can look at the scores and go, oh, it's 26 TP, it's 17 TP, it's 5 TP.
Yeah.
And then they can look at a game like this and go, actually, sometimes they weren't quite as good as that.
Yeah. And it's weird, isn't it? Because it's one of those sports where it's actually more interesting if people don't play perfectly.
I think snooker's the same.
Yeah.
I quite like seeing these tight frames.
And yet you get some sports where it's better. I mean, like darts, for example, it's much better if they play perfectly.
I quite like them under pressure, missing the doubles as well, Jack.
Well, they do that, but when you get, you get the top boys going hammer and tong, and it's entertaining. But I suppose that's more like golf croquet, isn't it? It's one person having a turn and the other person having a turn.
Yeah. So, sending this south of 4-back, probably I would say 4 to 5 yards south of it, to give yourself a chance of a stop shot peel.
I don't think he's in any trouble, but he has got to get past black, hasn't he? He's got to find a line past, hasn't he?
He does, because he wants a good rush out of 2-back.
We've got an angle there. So he just needs to sneak past on the left-hand side, presumably.
I think he's going to go right-hand
He's
side
gonna go on the right-hand
and have a
side.
straighter approach.
Okay.
I may be wrong. No, he's gone the right-hand side.
He's gone on the right.
Hasn't managed to get yellow as straight as I anticipated.
No. But it's one of them ones where you can, if you do happen to rush to somewhere where you can peel it, you can just settle for hitting yellow.
Yeah, yellow's actually very good for hitting, but then you've got to take off all the way back down to red.
But I don't think he'd worry about that too much. I think when you play a turn like this, you have to expect at some point you're going to have to play a big shot in at some point.
So just approaching with a little roll, trying to keep black under control, not send it too far.
I think these are the kind of approaches as well that the top players really it makes a difference. The top players from the next lot, because he's going to make this hoop, isn't he? And he's going to have control
of the
away,
striker's ball and have a rush back.
He was approaching from the side, not far away, but he's played a positive stroke where he's got good position.
I personally would be disappointed with this. This
It's
isn't
a bit
a
long.
rush.
It's
This
straight,
is
isn't it? But it's long.
Yeah, this is really quite a tough rush to take to peeling position. Oh, he's better at rushing than I am.
I don't think you're not very likely to, even if you get a dolly rush, as it were, or the best rush that you could possibly get. It's not very likely that you're going to rush it into peeling position and peel it from here.
Really?
Is it?
If I got a good rush out of 2-back, I'd really fancy at least having a go at a peel on this
maybe.
lawn.
I think it's.
That's no good. So now going to be an STP if he wants to finish this turn.
I think he's going to be going for it, isn't he?
I think he's definitely going to have a very positive go at it. Yeah. And meanwhile, Mark's got a slightly angled 2-back. It's only 20 degrees, isn't it? It's only 2 foot 20 degrees. It's not difficult. And he's failed it.
That was a bit of a whack, wasn't it?
So, yeah, we are playing a different game today. There's no doubt about it.
And he's done 2 peels for the TPO, so
that is terminal.
He might be crosswired from black.
That would be handy, wouldn't it? It would be
He
handy
wouldn't
to be
immediately
crosswired.
given away a 1-yarder.
Oh, that's well short. That's 3 yards short. It's not good enough.
It does seem to be sort of. There seems to have been more bad shots than good shots.
Yeah,
Sadly.
yeah.
But it gives people like me reassurance that some of the top players do play bad shots too.
Matthews hit his 1-yarder. He might have only had a bit of it because he only flicked it, but he's now got a 4-ball break and 1 peel to do.
So that should be 2-0.
Yeah, grab a 2-0 lead. So Robbie's now got this long take
Have you
off.
seen the other lawns? I haven't seen any. I mean, I haven't been looking, but I haven't seen anyone down on the other two
Well,
lawns.
Tom had a ball round, and Alan was taking a lift shot, and I don't know whether they've gone for lunch or not. No, they're
there's a
definitely
ball
in
coming.
play. So Tom's back in play again with his second break, and it looks like he's setting up a delayed TP. He's for hoop 5. I can't see whether he's got the 4-back peel yet.
Yeah, so some comments that the hoop control's not quite on point this morning, which I think we probably agree with. But I think we're expecting it to get better, aren't we, this afternoon? I don't think they're going to be playing like this all day.
Yeah. We've had some very unusual clip positions here. Again, Robbie playing that sort of stoppy drive that moves the front ball a long way forward and then runs the hoop by 7 yards to get a rush.
Yeah, I mean, does that... I can understand why he does that, but does it not kind of go against the perceived wisdom of moving the striker's ball as short as distance as possible by having to run the hoop by 7 yards?
It does. On the other hand, it does mean you can play your hoop shots a bit more positively.
Yeah.
And just in case you catch a little bit of wire, you're still going to get through by a few yards.
I understand that, yeah. It just feels maybe a little bit imprecise.
So Matthew's made one and has a 4-ball break, and Tom looks like he's hampered after hoop 5. I don't think he can hit anything here. He's walking towards corner 4. He might just have to run away, having run hoop 5.
Is that on the TP, do you think?
I think it's setting up a delayed TP.
Yeah.
There we go. They're not that tight.
That would not have been a good one for it to stick in.
No. Is he still going to have a go at this, do you think? This STP, or is he just going to give up?
He's still going to have a go, isn't he? He's just rushing to black, isn't he?
He hasn't given himself enough
Well,
room
he's
to
got
put
a
yellow
stop shot, hasn't he? Yeah, okay.
very far east. He might have a
No.
stop shot.
Do we have a heating in this bit? We could do with the heating turned up a bit.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Might get colder tomorrow when it rains.
Well, I'm not here tomorrow, so I don't mind that. There is a bit of a dark cloud over there by the look of it.
So,
Yeah, I think he's got this stop shot, hasn't he? I think so.
He's not playing as a stop shot, he's playing as a half
playing
roll.
it as a blimey.
That's how much this mallet doesn't move the front
That's
ball.
amazing.
It is
'Cause
amazing.
a lot of people would be looking at that thinking, I can't get yellow that far.
Yeah. So, red's not ideal.
And I tell you, if I could pick anyone to play this shot, who I'd pick?
Reg.
No, you'd pick Reg. I'd pick Rob because I think he's fantastic at rushing into feeding position.
That's short.
Yeah.
So that's the end of this potential. Now it's not Humpty balls, Marcus. So these are normal, good old-fashioned Dawsons. And they're playing very nicely. They're rushing well. Good contacts. They're splitting wide angles. They're nice balls. There's no ball excuse really today.
Well, he's got Oppo on Rover and Rover, as you spotted earlier, so he's probably not too worried about Jose hitting and finishing.
But you don't really want to make a diagonal spread against Rover and Rover.
No.
Because they'll lift the ball at 2, take the short lift at you, and if they hit, they've only got to rush from the peg to Rover for that straight Rover peel. So is he going to find something more ingenious? I think the answer's no. So we're expecting a diagonal spread.
It looks like there might be some black might be in the way of this shot.
How about... No, that just gives too short a shot if you put them north and south of the peg. So you can't do that. So we'll be going for a maximum distance horizontal type spread.
It's not many options, is there?
And just sort of sitting back and crossing his fingers. So
Yeah, I suppose you could somehow try and get a ball over on the west boundary and a ball in fullback or something.
oh, it's tough from here.
It is tough, but it might be a leave. He probably won't do it now, but I mean, he was over there, so if he'd have thought about it, he could have had a go.
So ball on the back of Penult. How about that?
Yeah,
No, we're not seeing that either.
rush a ball to fullback, or you're not worried about?
No,
Oh,
he's gone
no,
down
no,
that
that's
little
fine, that's
hill.
fine. It's fine. It moved though, didn't it?
It did,
It did swivel round.
It's worth keeping an eye on that as the match progresses. And this is just a diagonal spread.
Yeah.
And it'll be put on the maximum distance spot, so
I think
there's no
he's
short
thinking,
shot.
get this game over and done with, have some lunch, and then he'll come back and be
So that's Robbie
different
just
player.
checking his diabetic
okay.
levels.
Has he got one of the things on his arm?
Yeah. So he's got a permanent check.
They're good,
And
they are.
Normally, with games not going on 2 3/4 hours, 3 hours, it wouldn't be an issue. But
No.
he's always needing to check that. And if he
Right.
has to, he'll go off the lawn
Yes.
and he'll take some carbs on board.
Yeah.
Um,
You just scan it with your phone, is it that one? I've seen them ones. You just
yeah, I think he might just have a
Touchless.
permanent monitor on, and it'll probably highlight to him when he's going
maybe it's
below a certain
vibrated or
point.
something.
Yeah,
It's highlighted to him.
Yeah.
Well, we better eat that last jelly baby before he comes over.
all yours then. So I'm expecting Jose to lift the yellow and shoot at Robbie's balls and try and finish.
Yeah, I mean, is there any way that he could get red sort of rushable to fullback, but not to rover? He could have it sort of northwest, couldn't he? A little bit.
But that's going to offer lots of short shots up
Yeah.
to the boundary balls. So that's why I was considering a north-south
Yeah.
cross peg, but it just doesn't work. It gives 14-15 yards away.
Is it a new mallet? So Marcus seems to be suggesting that Robert's had 3 or 4 mallets over the past year.
Yeah, he's been sort of building multiple ones himself, and the idea is that these are for sale. Anyone who's
okay.
watching this and goes,
Right.
"Wow, what an amazing stop shot!" can
Well,
go
maybe
and
don't watch this game.
buy one of these mallets,
Don't put this one on his advertising material.
and perhaps more interestingly, he's created a new croquet ball.
Right. Okay.
So that is in the final stages and are about to go for testing, I think.
Interesting.
And obviously, we'd love to find a croquet ball that had the same characteristics as these sets of Dawson's
Yeah,
is
I'm not
playing
on
with.
top of what happened, and let's not go through the history, but it does seem disappointing to have gone from a point where we had some sort of fairly reliable balls that everyone was happy with to now sort of people don't seem to be quite so happy with the current version for some reason.
Yeah, it's all about some chemical, I think, that they're not allowed to use anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean that is becoming I mean a lot of clubs probably find it with the lawn care as well. A lot
Yeah.
of the chemicals that
Yeah.
that you used to be able to sprinkle on the lawns to do or kill certain things,
Yeah,
you're not allowed to now because
Yes.
of
we're now using, I think, some sort of tea tree
Right.
treatment for worms.
natural sort
Yeah.
of products rather than chemicals. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most people, again, we keep talking about this stop shot, but most people would be looking at this sort of not really very happy, would they, being that close to red? But because he wants to get yellow sort of a fair way across, doesn't he?
Quite a long way across.
And most people wouldn't probably be getting it past the hoop 1, hoop 2 line if they're.
Yeah, and you want it probably 3 yards past that. while
He's
holding
going to be able
for
to do
red.
this, isn't he, quite nicely?
He's got the shot.
But do you... I suppose we keep saying this about his stop shots, but I suppose it just highlights that he is actually rushing to places where he can play his stop shot.
Yep.
So that's a good sort of thing to point out, isn't it, for people? Is actually don't rush there if you can't play the shot. You know, pick the spot 3 yards away where you can. So we keep looking at it thinking, oh God, that's a tough shot, but he probably knows that is the spot that he wanted to rush to.
Yep. And each time his ball is moving a shorter distance than our ball would be moving.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I think Jose will be disappointed, won't he, to have got into this situation. But I don't think it'll bother him.
Well, he's still got a great chance. All he's got to do is hit this lift with the yellow, and he should be winning.
Yeah, I mean, you say things like that as if it's, you hit the lift and you're guaranteed to get a perfect rush on red to in front of Rover.
Well, you should get a perfect rush on red to Rover. Whether you play the rush well is a different matter entirely. But if if yellow hits black here,
I think I might have said the same sentence of you, but instead of saying should, I might have said could.
These are lovely, lovely lawns to play on.
But he's only going to have one ball, isn't he? If he hits the Roquet, he's not going to be able to get both Oppo balls across there.
No.
So he's probably only going to have a deep ball, presumably.
Yeah.
From where he's likely to be attempting the peel.
Yeah. And I am going to try and rush to quite a good position. You can make a hoop.
But again, it's one of those positions. It's better to be short, isn't it, than long. So, if anything, if he's going to play the rush, if he hits this Roquet, I'd expect him to hit it shorter than longer.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush past the hoop. You want to have a go.
Correct.
You want to be able to attempt the peel.
I'll just put another idea in your head if you're not trying to finish.
Well, no, I'm not saying don't try and finish. I'm just saying, when you use words like should, I'm not sure that's...
So here, he's not taking the shorter shot.
Yeah.
He's taking something that's
Which is strange, isn't it? Because you would just look at it and go, well, Robert's going to finish anyway, even if I missed it. I mean, yellow being in corner 4 is of no benefit to Jose in this position, is it?
No, the shorter shot is yellow at red.
Yeah.
And you can put Rover in the background.
Yeah. And then you'd run it off the end of A-block and then you'd have to hit the short lift.
Got a bonus shot again, haven't you? Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't make any sense, I don't think, does it? I don't. And why would you take this shot? What would be the reason he's taken this shot?
They're both 19 yards, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he just hasn't thought about hitting red.
If you hit red, you can't finish.
Yeah. I suppose if they're the same length, it does add a little bit of value, doesn't it?
No, that's again hilled off. It goes left to right, that shot. He thought he'd got it. And that is going to be a major let-off for Robbie Fletcher.
Unless there's one last, very large twist.
Indeed. So we've got a question. Do you think using a fairly new mallet going into a World Championship is a good idea? I think I've seen Robert Fletcher use probably 3, maybe 4 different mallets in the last 12 months. And I think what I'd say is I respect Robbie enough to say he's done enough practice with each of them to know what's right, and he's trying to bring his game to a different level. And this is the one he's decided on, and he would have been playing with all the English summer had it actually arrived. So I'm comfortable with players trying to experiment and improve their game. And
so when you speaking earlier that he brought his mallet over in 2 pieces, and the head got lost.
Yeah.
And he's got 3 or 4 different shafts. So one of them obviously isn't the length that he's now holding that mallet at. So what was the difference between the shafts that he bought?
I would be guessing it might be weight, but I don't
Right.
know. I don't know the answer.
Because presumably if he bought a mallet, that a shaft that was that long, he'd be using that.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, good shot. Sensibly the correct side of penultimate. You always want it a little bit on the foreback side.
That did go, didn't it? A
It
little
did.
bit.
It did.
So, like you say, if it speeds up, there's still potentially some interest around that hoop. It's not the sun though today, is there? So
It's just gone behind the cloud, so I don't think we're going to get any lawn speed increase this
No,
afternoon.
I think it could be fairly consistent.
Again, that's not a great rush. It's straight. Matthew pegging out to win game 2.
Oh, I've finally seen a player on lawn 1. That's Rob. I haven't seen anyone down there for ages, but I don't
I saw a bit of Logan,
know. Okay.
so 4-yard approach.
Looks short, but he's going to be alright. Oh,
Red just stayed on the lawn by an inch.
Chris.
I think it's an inch
it
on.
It is, isn't it? He will be sighing there. A sigh of relief.
So despite the fact that Black's actually got quite a long hoop, Red was an inch from going off the north boundary.
So there could have been the final twist.
Well, there still can be. This isn't easy. Oh, just gave it some vigour, and it certainly bullied its way through.
Did it need that, do you think? I don't know. I was just looking at expecting him to just sort of have a nice... I mean, any pace there, he would have got to the boundary, wouldn't he? I mean, he didn't, did he, in the end?
Well,
But was you expecting him to hit it that hard?
I did.
You did,
fancy
fair
him
enough.
to really go at that
Okay.
one.
I mean, it moved a lot, didn't it? So that
It did.
hoop's going to be loose now,
It
probably
did.
for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So that hoop is probably going to
Ground here at Hurlingham
be
quite
easy
soft.
now for the rest of the day.
All these lawns built on silt, so the subsoil never really has much grip.
Matthew has pegged out. So that's 2-0.
I think they'll probably take lunch now.
I suspect so. It's 10-1, so it is lunchtime.
So yeah, coming up to the 3-hour point for this first game.
I'm surprised. 3 hours. I would like Jose to win a game in this match, just for the interest.
Yeah, he's certainly got some support around the lawn, and I thought he had to get off to a fast start, and this is not a good start.
Well, but Robbie hasn't had a good start, so I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be worried that he didn't come out all guns blazing. It does give you a little bit of confidence, doesn't it, when you see your opponent making errors? But someone like Robbie, you know, he might turn up after lunch and just make no errors and, you know, hit 2 shots, and
That's what I'm
you know,
expecting.
he could be, you know, Jose could be out in another
Yeah, I'm not.
hour and a half.
I'm not
2 hours.
expecting Robbie
No.
to make more errors.
No. I think someone like Robbie as well, he will not be happy, will he, with the way he's played, probably.
No.
And he will be,
And
he'll be very determined now.
yeah, in terms of, he's not just looking at this match, he's looking at the semi-final and the
Yeah.
final, and he's going, no, this isn't
Yeah.
good enough.
Yeah.
I need to really tighten it up for game 2, game 3, and, you know, put some fear into my next round opponent.
Yeah.
Simple approach to Rover, partner at the peg, and about a 3-hour first game.
Last time I said that it's approaching 100% for somebody to win that turn. I was completely wrong, but I think I could say it now.
You could say it now. I think that's fair. Now that's all the hoops out of the way. Tom back in on lawn 2. Broke down after hoop 5, so he's going to have a bit of work to do potentially to finish. Robert Fulford game up, and Tom is also game up, and Matthew's 2 games up.
So there's still a lot of play this afternoon.
There is. Yeah, if you're in the London locality, do pop down to Hurlingham.
You have to make sure you bring your CA card with
CA
you
card,
to
yeah.
get into the venue.
But yeah, could easily be going on into the early evening today. And we've got some bowl matches here and some plate matches, I think. Well, certainly some plate matches.
Yeah, there must be people out on the cricket field today.
Yeah, Ewan Burridge's run has just come to an end. He's lost to Dwayne McCormick in straight games, but amazingly good tournament. Made it through the qualifier, made it through the blocks, and beat Stephen Mulliner in straight games yesterday.
Yeah. Well, Stephen did 2 TPOs, didn't he?
Are you a bit surprised
I
about
am surprised.
how far this peg out is?
I'm glad I didn't say he was nearly 100% now.
It's not one you should miss, but
No.
it requires you to strike the black ball well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he'd be worried, will he? But yeah, it's longer than it probably he would have expected it to be. Just checking that both balls are still together.
Yeah, very good, very sensible. And never play this with a half roll.
Yeah.
Always play it with a drive or a stop shot.
And that's because you can't guarantee that your mallet's going to go through the ball in a straight line, presumably with a half roll.
You're just hitting it flatter.
Yeah. He will get a bit of a round of applause, I think.
There we go. After 3 hours, Robbie wins the first game +4. And I'm guessing we're going to have a lunch break now.
I'm fairly sure that'll be lunch.
So we'll call it for a little break now.
Yep.
And catch up later.
Yep. Thanks, Chris.
That was a lot of work. That was 3 hours of great commentary. Hi everyone, just confirming we'll just end this stream now and we'll be back in time for the second game.